welcome you back into U.S. Bank Stadium for Prep Bowl 37. I'm Sloan Martin, joined by former Eden Prairie star Ryan Iverson. And in this 9-man title game, Ryan, we are looking at teams that are not accustomed to being down, playing from behind. How important is this first quarter and getting out to a quick start for both teams?
Well, I think neither one of these teams has really had a lot of adversity, Sloan. So whoever can score and get off to that quick start, I think, has such a benefit going forward. And if you can overcome quick mistakes and just settle down and play football, that's going to be the key here to start the game.
How can Mountain Lake area's depth be used in their favor to try and unseat the reigning champions?
What people don't realize is how warm it is indoors. I remember playing for Eden Prairie in the prep bowls, and you are dripping sweat beforehand. And you see the depth of Mountain Lake. They have very few guys playing both ways. So you get a lot of guys on Spring Grove going both ways. So I think they can wear them down with depth. So that's going to be definitely something to keep an eye on.
We're almost set for kickoff here at U.S. Bank Stadium. Spring Grove trying to win their second straight football championship, whereas on the other side, Mountain Lake area has not won a state title in anything except boys basketball. And Ryan, that was in 1939.
Well, and don't get me wrong, having that experience, that championship experience that Spring Grove has from last year, even though they lost a lot, they have Alex Foles, they have other couple very, very good players that know what it takes to be a champion. Officially
underway here. That is picked up by Noah Elton of the Lions. He'll be brought down just over the 30-yard line. We'll have our first play here in Prep Bowl 37.
Well, this is kind of the matchup that I'm really intrigued about, too, as I prepared for this game. Is you see that potent offense. We're going to talk a lot about that young man, Alex Foles. Look at those numbers, almost video game numbers. He is such a complete quarterback. He can do it through the air. He can do it on the ground. He's also their kicker, so he is multi-talented. But this Mountain Lake defense does not give up very many yards or very many points. So this is going to be a good chess matchup here.
Eye-popping numbers for his career. You heard it in the pregame, nearly 13,000 yards on offense. Here he takes the snap. There's the screen they go to very often. A block by Kai Bjerke, and that is going to be Noah Elton, who's able to get out of bounds. Let's take a look at our keys to the game.
Yeah, and you look at Spring Grove on defense, they have to stop the run. And they need big plays on offense. Their offense is so potent. They need to score, and they need to do it in big chunks. For Mountain Lake area, they have to contain Alex Foles, which is a lot easier said than done. But I think offensively, they have to dominate the time of possession. They need to keep their offense on the field. You know the saying, a great best defense or best offense can be also your best defense.
Here is Foles, second down and 4. He's just going to take it himself up the middle before he is tackled and brought down by several Wolverines. Keys to the game are brought to you by Twin Cities Honda dealers. Unwrap great savings on your favorite Honda during the Happy Honda Day sales event going on now. Visit your local favorite Twin Cities Honda dealer to learn more.
When you watch Alex Foles run the ball, even there, 4-yard gain, he's so physical. He's only 5'10", but he's about 200 pounds, and he is strong. And you very rarely see him go backwards. And again, contact about 2 yards downfield, he's able to use that physicality and get a first down. That's always a great sign in the prep bowl when you can move the chains early on.
No jitters here to start for Spring Grove. Foles has all the time in the pocket. He throws it incomplete now. That was intended for Kai Bjerke. The game-winning touchdown with 30 seconds left and a 1-point win in the state quarterfinals against Russell Tyler Roofton. That time it just comes out of his hands.
Well, definitely some missed coverage there as Bjerke was wide open. And I'll tell you what, early on in the game, and you know you're wide open, you'd have a tendency to take your eyes off the football. That might have been for 6.
Do you just know about that open field in front of you, too, when you're catching the ball?
And you just got to slow down, right? You slow down, especially the prep ball. Everything's moving so fast. A great throw, and I'm sure he'll get back to making a catch down the road.
Second down and 10 more time for Foles, but that is knocked down by Mountain Lake area. That is number 80 for them, Drake Furner, who's 6'3", one of the biggest players you'll find on the field.
He's a great basketball player. He's a very good running back. That time plays the passing lanes. And one thing to keep an eye on, Alex Foles does not throw many interceptions, but this Mountain Lake defense has 19 of them on the year. So they are a very ball-dominant team. They run to the football, and they got great length. You got to play those passing lanes when you're going against Alex Foles.
A huge opportunity here for the Wolverines to force a 3-and-out on the first drive for Spring Grove. That doesn't happen often at all. Here is Foles. He will toss that over the middle of the field, just into the hands of Ethan Maskey. It's easily a first down as they get close
Spring Grove. That ball hung in the air a little bit longer than I think Foles would have liked, and a near interception. Watch that great concentration by Matzke. That is not easy. When you are running across the middle, you know you're probably going to take a hit. And that ball, you know, you hear football is a game of inches. That was about an inch away from being intercepted. So big third down conversion for Spring Grove.
This offense executes so well throughout the year. They're at the 24-yard line of Mountain Lake area. In motion is Elton. Here is Foles keeping it himself. Bounces off a tackler, and finally he is brought down by Harder right near the line of scrimmage.
And that's what makes them so hard to defend. They can run the ball and they can throw the ball so well. And with Alex Foles, you almost have to have a linebacker that says, my only job is to spy on you. If he keeps the ball, you got to have a tackler, and you almost need a second and third tackler. Take that play, for example, Sloan. It looks like it wasn't a very big game, but it's 4 yards on first down. That's a win for most offenses.
Second down and 6 to go. Ball at the 20-yard line.
And watch for that quick screen up there to the right. They run it quite a bit.
Foles looked at it and takes it himself again. He's wrapped up, still trying to gain those extra yards, and he falls forward. That's exactly what he does when he gets the ball in his hands, constantly churning, looking for extra yardage.
Yeah, he's slippery, right? He doesn't overwhelm you with speed or quickness, but he's just crafty. Watch the ball fake. That's such a big asset at this age. See him look the defense away. They run that quick screen so elegantly that the defense reacts, and he just makes that commitment up the middle, falls forward, another first down.
And that was a convincing ball fake, too. Or that look off there. It wasn't just going through the motions. It was something that is very effective for this offense. Here is Foles, first down and 10 after his run complete to Noah Elton. The tackle there by Zach Spinks will stop him short of a first down.
Yep, nice quick throw. I'll tell you the other thing that Alex Foles does when you watch him on tape, Sloan, he stands in the pocket. He's about to take a hit, and he stands in there and still makes his throw. You see guys in the NFL that can't stand in the pocket like that.
There's head coach Zach Hauser in his 12th year with Spring Grove. He actually lives in Caledonia and teaches there, so his kids get to see 2 championship-winning teams and kind of learn from them and emulate.
He played at Caledonia, and look at that record, 102 and 30. So he's certainly no stranger to success.
Ball is at the 7, second down and 6. Foles, the snap, and he reaches into the end zone. It is a touchdown for Spring Grove. They get on the board first with that outstretched arm of Foles.
And again, contact at about the 4-yard line. He just keeps those legs, that strength propels him forward. And how about just the uncanny ability to know where the goal line is? Watch him reach out, extend this ball over. So difficult to defend. They go 4 wide receivers. They spread the defense out, and then watch this decision right up the middle. Excellent blocking up front, and just that strength to be able to not go down and extend. That's a big time opening drive. Exactly what Spring Grove wanted to do.
Zach Spinks had his entire body weight on the ground trying to hold on to his foot, and he still dragged him a little bit farther. Foles has now surpassed 6,000 career rushing yards, now has 6,003. Just a prolific career that's only going to grow in this game.
And he's now over 13,000 total offensive yards for his career. I mean,
absolutely shocking statistics.
And you hear people say, well, that's 9-man football. This kid could play at any level, at any program. He's that good. He's that good of an athlete. And he's just a winner and has a nose for making big plays in big games.
And here he is trying to complete the extra point. And it is good. A 7-0 lead for the reigning champions. We'll be right back here at US Bank Stadium for more of the 9-man championship game on 45 TV.
Trust, real people, real results.
A 9-play drive takes Spring Grove to the end zone, but let's have a report from Allie Earls on the sideline.
Sloan and Ryan, we all know that 9-man football is different from that 11-player football. That's standard. And 7 years ago, Coach Tim Kirk said there was no way that he was going to come out and coach 9-man football back when Mountain Lake, Butterfield, Odin split off, reducing Mountain Lake area to just playing 9-man. But Coach embraced the change and said it took a few weeks to adjust, but 9-man football forces players to be better tacklers. That typical 4-yard gain ends up going 8 or 10. Now he says he absolutely loves it, and there is no way playing that standard 11-man football.
Mace Herrig on the return there.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Allie. And really, when you really dissect it, I had the chance to coach my son in 9-man football 2 years ago. The only difference really is there's more space. So you actually have to be fundamentally stronger. You have to be able to tackle in space. I think it's harder defensively than it is offensively.
That's exactly what Tim Kirk said in a conversation I had with him this week, is that a 4-yard game could turn into 8 or 10 if you don't make those tackles, if you're not fundamentally sound.
And really, in any football, dominating the line of scrimmage, offense and defensive lines play such a big role.
There's Abraham Stace sneaking past multiple defenders. He finally runs over Alex Foles for a first down. A solid start to this first drive for Mountain Lake, down 7-0.
Well, we're going to talk a lot about Alex Foles, but Abraham Stace is one of the best quarterbacks in 9-man football as well. Great balance. He's over 1,000 yards on the season too, and you can see how powerful, strong, and a good athlete, and he's got a very good arm, very accurate as well. So this is a nice quarterback matchup here. It's going to be a lot of Alex Foles, but don't forget about Abraham Stace.
We've got highly skilled players in multiple positions here for these undefeated teams in the Prep Bowl. It's first down and 10 after that Stace run. He will hand off, and it comes out. It's a fumble, and it looks like it's going to be recovered by Spring Grove in very good territory.
Yeah, and you're going to see, guess who was in on the hit there? That was Alex Foles in on a great hit on Harder. And I'll tell you, Tim Kirk all week long, when I talked to him, he said, we got to win the turnover battle. We don't give up the football very often. That would have been a nice gain on first down. And watch the hit here by Alex Foles, right on the ball. And turnovers can really be costly, especially when you're playing against the defending champion, Spring Grove.
The ball is going to be on the Spring Grove 48-yard line. That's good field position for this very potent offense.
And I'll tell you, Spring Grove likes to take shots after they get turnovers, so you got to be careful here.
Here's Foles over the middle of the field. Intercepted right back. Zach Spinks. That erases that turnover, I guess.
What a great catch by Spinks. Again, 19 interceptions coming into this, so their defense gets takeaways. And, hey, what a better way to respond, right? A little adversity, we have a turnover. First play out of that, you come up, make a great diving catch. What concentration. And Zach Spinks gets the ball right back to Mountain Lake.
What a sigh of relief for the Mountain Lake fans who have come out in huge numbers here for a town that is only 2,100. What a sigh of relief for that side of the field and the sideline to now be back on offense immediately.
Well, watch that. I mean, that's a difficult catch. Going to your left, going down like that. And not a typical throw right there by Alex Foles. Thrown into coverage, very well defense. Look at Spinks. You see him? He was playing that quick screen. Then he dropped. He got the depth. Great angle, great concentration. And now if you're Mountain Lake, you got to take a deep breath and you relax and you got to play football now and sustain a drive.
And this play is under review. Minnesota is in its second year with replay and is the only state in the entire country that does that. Some other schools are experimenting. But Minnesota is the first. They are reviewing scoring plays and change of possession, which is why we had that short delay there.
They confirmed it. That's Spinks' second interception, and I guarantee none bigger on the year than that one.
We're at the 43. Fake handoff. Here is Stace trying to push his way forward. He does gain a couple. It'll be second down.
I'll tell you what, Kai Bierke, number 2, got into the backfield, and Stace just showing his strength off and athleticism, kept those legs moving and driving. And that's a good first down, a gain of 4.
Ball will be spotted at the 47-yard line.
You know, you look at Abraham Stace's numbers, and one thing that really stands out, he's very accurate, 64%. Not as many yards as Foles, but very, very efficient. 9 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, so he really takes care of the ball.
Stace pitches that one out to Drake Harder, who gets another shot after that fumble. He'll pick up a couple on that play.
When you look at Spring Grove's offense, you talk a lot about Alex Foles making, you know, all the plays. When you look at Mountain Lake area, they really have great balance. They have 2 1,000-yard rushers on the season, first time in school history with Abraham Stace and the running back Mace Herrig. And they really, really depend on running the ball inside and outside. So they have a really balanced offense, which makes it really hard to key in on one
piece.
Big moment here at midfield. It's 3rd down and 5 for the Wolverines. Stace in his hands, takes off, missed tackle. He is continuing to go on the sidelines over the middle of the field. He is wide open to the end zone. It is a touchdown. Stace goes all the way to make it 7-6.
Well, what an athletic play by the quarterback on that one. I thought he was going to get tackled for a loss there, and watch him keep his feet going. He breaks this initial tackle right there, and then look at his speed. He gets to the outside, great vision, see his head upfield looking, and just fights through it. That is a big-time answer and much needed for Mountain Lake.
That's exactly what we were talking about, Ryan, where missed tackles, there were 2 there, turn into a huge explosive play.
Well, and that's where both of these teams are going to be seeing something new. They're used to teams just wilting when you exert your will. I think both of these teams are so great that they're going to be able to take punches and give each other back and forth. We're going to go, you got to have a response, and they certainly did on that.
That was a 57-yard drive, a 52-yard run for Stace, who's going to be knocked out of bounds, and they will fail on the 2-point conversion, keeping the score 7-6 in favor of Spring Grove. 9-man prep bowl here at US Bank Stadium, separated by just 1 point. Get the news and weather first every night on 45 TV. Local news at 9 p.m. right here on 45 TV. Welcome back to the 9-man championship game here at US Bank Stadium. It is a 7-6 lead for the reigning champions after Mountain Lake area was not able to convert a 2-point conversion. So it stays separated by 1 here. 7-11 left in the first quarter, but lots of exciting plays we've seen so far.
Well, we've seen both quarterbacks come to play and making great runs.
That goes off the hands of Noah Elton. He still can't pick it up. It is a live ball, but he holds on to it, but they will be inside the 15-yard line to start their next drive.
Yeah, and people sometimes forget that ball goes out and further than 10 yards. It is a live ball, so you have to have urgency when you fall on that thing, and a nice job by Elton, at least recovering it. Didn't get much of a return, but able to keep possession.
The senior Eli Karshnick able to disrupt that play and make it a little more dangerous for Elton, but he does maintain possession.
Well, how about Abraham Stace? You know, he came into this game with 19 rushing touchdowns, averages 9.5 yards per carry, so he's a playmaker on his own, and did he show it off there on that touchdown run?
52 yards to the end zone. Foles takes the snap, a gang tackle not far from the line of scrimmage, and he will make it 2nd down. Here is Alex Foles, and you just see what a prolific career he has had. The 4th player in state history with 6,000 career rushing yards. A Mr. Football finalist, which is a huge accomplishment in 9-man football, and he did that. He did get to 6,000 yards on the first drive, so it can only grow from here, adding to his legacy.
Well, and that's his rushing right there, but we also saw him have a couple big plays in the passing game too. So I think when you play Spring Grove, you have to try to take one of those away, either make him a runner or a passer, but don't let him do both.
Elton is tripped up after a gain of a couple. It'll bring up 3rd down. He was just tripped up at the last second by Abraham Stace.
Not a quick throw. They like to run that a lot, but a nice job coming up. Abraham Stace there, the quarterback, comes up, and both quarterbacks really making their marks on offense, but also on defense there. He puts his helmet right on that ball, and we've seen some early jitters here, the ball hitting the ground, but that time they ruled him down. So this sets up a very critical 3rd down.
Stace, Drake Harder, and Mace Herrick are among the 3 players who will play on both sides of the ball. But they have the luxury of not having to do that with every single one of their players.
Timeout.
The timeout is called on the field. It looks like Abraham Stace is on the sideline. And we'll come back with more as Spring Grove continues their drive here on 45 TV. The sleigh. Help us raise money and collect toys to benefit the St. Paul and Minneapolis Police Foundation's charities. For more information, visit kstp.com to see how you can make a difference in the life of local kids this year. Back in action in Prep Bowl 37, the 9-man championship. The reigning champions on their 2nd drive of the game. Foles is flushed out of the pocket. He'll just run it himself, and a big tackle there from Harder will send Foles out of bounds.
Well, Was that a collision? I could hear that all the way up here in the booth. Wow, what a collision. I'll tell you, great decision-making by Foles. He recognizes no one is there. Oh, that's like two Mack trucks getting at it there. What a collision. Oh.
Harder is one of the bigger players you'll see in nine-man football. He's listed at 6'3", about 225. Also a really talented basketball player, too. You can see how that size would help him on the hardwood as well.
Well, you won't see Alex Foles stop dead in his tracks or go backwards very often. That was a great play, and just the significance of it, too, short of the first down.
It's a fake punt. Foles will take it himself. He's got the first down. This drive will continue for Spring Grove.
Well, and that's the problem. When he's the kicker and the punter, he's always in a position to be dangerous and to make a play. And that time, I think, instantly, he's looking at the right of your screen, seeing there's no contain to the outside, and he knows he's only got to get a yard. That's an easy pickup for him. You got to play Spring Grove 4 downs at all points.
Sometimes I wonder with Foles how much is planned and how much is in his own head, because there is so much trust that Zach Hauser, the head coach, puts on him when the ball is in his hands.
And that's somewhere if he sees a look that he likes, they trust him to make the right decision.
There's the option to Tyler Kirsten. That's his first catch of the game. Tackle made there by Harder.
Well, that's that speed option. Again, so much attention goes to Foles that's going to be available there. And I really thought, Sloan, one of the keys today was someone else for Spring Grove is going to have to be a big playmaker. You know, whether that's in the run, whether that's Kirsten or through the air to Noah Elton or Ethan Matzke, somebody's going to have to step up and take some of the burden off Alex Foles. I think he's that great, but I also think this defense for Mountain Lake area is that good. It's going to take a multiple.
Second down and 4. There's a fake pass. Then he'll pitch it out to Noah Elton, who will spin and not pick up the first down. Closed captioning is brought to you by Education Minnesota, the voice for professional educators and students.
I know that play wasn't a very big gain, but how do you defend that? You know, he drops back, looks like he's going to run. Defense collapses because you have to respect his running ability. And then at the last second, he throws it out, still able to get positive yards on that. Very well defended there, but also just great playmaking ability.
Abraham Stace is back into the game on defense for the Wolverines. He sat out a couple of plays. Here is Tyler Kirsten, and he pushes over a tackler to gain extra yards. A powerful play by Kirsten.
Well, do you see the emotion, too? How about the collisions on this drive? And Kirsten, watch him finish this. Just goes right through the defender. And again, the sound of that. This is football. 9-man, 11-man, it doesn't matter. These kids have come to hit. You see Kirsten celebrate that first down. He knows that was a big play.
And Eli Karshnick did the right thing. He went low, a fundamentally good tackle, and that was just a lot of strength from Kirsten. Here's another option for Kirsten, again having a fantastic drive. He's got lots of space on the sideline, sprinting to the end zone. That's touchdown number 2 for the reigning champions.
Well, exactly what I said. Someone else is going to have to step up. Tyler Kirsten does that. That option was ran beautifully. You're going to see the defense collapse 100% on Alex Foles, and that's just being a winner, being a playmaker. Watch him wait till the last second to pitch that ball. Occupies the defender. Great block, too, from Dakota Boyd, number 10, getting the block on the contain there, and he is off to the races. Touchdown. That's his 7th rushing touchdown. Beautiful offense by Spring Grove.
You just see the determination on his face, seeing that open field in front of him and taking it all the way. The extra point is good, making it 14-6 Spring Grove as they try to keep the Prep Bowl championships in Section 1 for the 6th straight year.
Well, the 2 big plays on that, converting the fake punt, and then here's the touchdown. And looking at the speed to get up the seams. And in 9-man football with the spacing, if you can get that speed to the outside, Sloan, you can go to the house. That's why scoring is so high. But, you know, Mountain Lake, their defense, they just normally don't allow guys to get to the outside. But when you got a quarterback that commands that attention, he pitches it right at the right time. And Tyler Kirsten, who we saw, had that great run on 3rd down.
Fantastic drive for him.
And here he just finishes it off. Great speed. And you can see Spring Grove, why they're so difficult to defend.
It was an 8-play, 85-yard drive over 3 minutes and 11 seconds, a 58-yard run for Kirsten. So we've seen on the other side a 52-yard run, and that was 58 for Kirsten to go up by 1 score.
Yeah, Mountain Lake, you know, when they scored on their last possession, it was really quick. I just think their best defense might be keeping that offense on the field and grinding out a sustained drive. Don't let the Spring Grove offense get the ball back.
Was picked up by Mace Herring, who is still on his feet trying to turn out more yards. He gets just short of the 35-yard line, and that is where another drive will start for Mountain Lake area. Let's check in with Allie Alt.
Sloan and Ryan, Abe Stace is not feeling well. He is definitely battling some nausea right now. He had come off to the sidelines when they were last on defense. He was really having a tough time, feeling as though he was going to be sick. Now, I saw him have a little bit of something to eat, and he pounded a lot of water. He did say, I don't want to get sick on the field, but he has battled through. He's back out here, so this is something to keep an eye on the rest of this game.
Yeah, we saw him huddled over a trash can. That was maybe one indication, thank you, Allie, that he was not feeling well. He also missed a couple of plays on defense. Here is Harder pushing his way before he is swarmed just shy of the 40-yard line.
Well, and sometimes that's really, it's all emotion, right? And he had that big touchdown run, and you get kind of worked up. You're so animated that, you know, it just kind of overtakes you. So you just need to calm down, and great to see him back on the field. He's such a big part, obviously, of their offense and their defense, too. And he's just such a weapon back there that if he's not on the field, they become a completely different looking offense.
Hopefully he is able to feel like his normal self, because there's still a lot of game to go, and the Wolverines certainly depend on him. The second down and 4. Here's Stace from the shotgun, and that is going to be dropped. Intended for Harder.
Well, and that's one Stace wishes he would have had back, because Harder, if he able to catch that, he had blockers out in front. That was set up beautifully. Screenplays are hard to execute because you got to allow the defense to really get close to that quarterback. I thought Stace set it up beautifully. Ball just a little bit overthrown, but if Harder's able to catch that, they had blockers out in front. That would have been a big play.
You've seen good offense so far in this first quarter. A third down opportunity for Mountain Lake area. Third down and 4 to go.
Well, we haven't called Mace Herring's name much, and he's a very explosive running back. Likes to get to the outside.
Some premature movement, flag on the field.
Before the snap, false start, offensive line, 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
Well, that's a huge play. At 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, you have really anything in the playbook available to you. When you back up now to have 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, you as a defense, you start to think pass, 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 right? And it allows your pass rush to get and really get aggressive, and guys in the secondary to really start playing those passing alleys. So you got to be careful if you're Mountain Lake. You want to take a shot, but you do not want to turn it over here to Spring Grove.
From the 34-yard line, here is Stace. He has space, but he's eventually flushed out of the pocket by Matsky, taking it himself. He'll be close to that marker. I think he might be short.
No, they're going to give it to him.
Oh, they are going to give it to him. A first down for Mountain Lake area. A tough, hard-nosed run there for Stace.
What I love that he did there, Sloan, is he dropped back. As soon as he realized no one was open, there was no indecisiveness. He tucked it and he ran. Great speed, and he finished that run going forward, able to pick up that first down.
Tackle by Kyle Hayden.
So really impressed with Abraham Stace's speed. I watching him on tape, I knew he was elusive, but he's got great speed.
Stace quickly gets rid of that, and it's caught by number 20 of Mountain Lake area, Eli Karshnick.
Well, nice, easy throw, right? Get your quarterback some confidence, a quick drop back, about a 6-7 yard in pattern, an easy throw, great throw and catch, and that's a win on first down.
You see with our great camera work here on 45 TV with our crew, sometimes you're seeing Abraham Stace kind of grimacing in his helmet, and hopefully things aren't too bad that he's able to maintain himself here. We're still in the first quarter. He's going to throw that one incomplete. That was intended for number 15, Brett Willoughby. Abraham Stace, his head coach, Tim Kirk says that he's not a big kid, about 6 feet tall, but he says pound for pound, probably the strongest player on the team in the weight room and how they prepare. He has a lot of toughness to him and strength.
Well, you look at him just here on TV, and you can see how big and strong he is. He's a great basketball player as well, and he's just a competitor. And what I love, too, about both of these teams is they have many multi-sport athletes playing. So these are great football, baseball, basketball players. So they're competing year-round.
Stace still has it. He will be wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Great defense, a big stop for Spring Grove on 3rd down.
Yeah, and you can see Elton getting into the backfield. It looked like they were changing plays in the backfield as that ball was snapped. So a little miscommunication that you could tell they weren't quite on the same page. Yeah, and you can see just great penetration, too, by Calvin Sillian getting into that backfield. And that's the key when you're playing Stace. You got to get hands on him and wrap him up early. You can't let him get to that outside where he's got that great speed.
There was a flag, so that will bring up 4th down.
You know, and that loss of yardage, too, you think if it was 4th and 1 or 2 at midfield, would they maybe go for it? Yeah, and they are keeping their offense. You see Spring Grove was playing for the punt.
They are going to kick it away.
Oh,
good bounces. Very fortuitous for Mountain Lake area to set up this Spring Grove offense very deep in their own territory when they were down 14-6.
Right there. Come on.
Thanks for tuning in here to 45 TV. We have the entire championship weekend coming your way here from US Bank Stadium. I'm Sloan Martin along with Ryan Iverson, who won 2 state championships himself at Eden Prairie. So he's been there, not on this field.
Nope.
Not on this field. You're a little bit older than that, but still, the Metrodome, the kind of atmosphere, the playing surface, which especially for 9-man is very, very different from what they're used to.
Well, take a look at that Mountain Lake area. Talk about balance. 2nd highest scoring offense and best scoring defense in 9-man football. So very dominant on both sides of the football. And there you can see a false start.
Good ball. Encroachment. 74 on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
That's really going to help Spring Grove, who originally started this drive at their own 8-yard line.
I talked to Tim Kirk during the week, and one of the words that kept coming up was discipline. He said his team is very disciplined in that, taking care of the football and also just penalties. And so just little things like that, you got to really be on your game when you're playing Spring Grove.
Foles fakes the handoff before he is wrapped up and taken down by Stace.
Well, we've seen a couple of these quarterback-to-quarterback matchups, right? On, you know, quarterback tackling the other quarterback. That's a great matchup for those two. And an excellent ball fake, too, by Alex Foles. You know, that's one of the things people, you know, tend to overlook. You watch Peyton Manning, right? He was so good at the little things, the ball fakes. And we've seen Foles obviously run the ball very well, but great ball fake there. Some great fakes, you know, looking off the defenders. He's just a well-rounded quarterback.
Those little movements pay off. Here is play action over the middle of the field. It's Foles is intercepted for the 2nd time today. It is Abraham Stace who will run out of bounds inside the 10-yard line, giving this offense for Mountain Lake area amazing position to try and tie this game.
Well, and again, that's the 2nd time Foles down the middle of the field where that ball's kind of hung up into the air. And Stace just does a great job playing center field. Look at him close from the opposite side there. That's just great instinct right there and a great nose for the ball. And here you'll really get to see. You can see he's at the right of our screen. Watch him come all the way across. And that ball's close to being a big play, but just a phenomenal play and a great break on the football. You know, and when you're playing that free safety, you're the quarterback of the defense as well. And a lot of being a great football player, being a great quarterback is just instinct, and you got to see that on display.
Ball's at the 9-yard line, a handoff to Harder, still pushing, but he'll eventually be swarmed and pushed back to make it 2nd down.
Well, I told you that Mountain Lake defense, the best scoring defense in 9-man football. And you talk about takeaways. They came into this game with 40 sacks and 19 interceptions. Now, of course, up to 21 with 2 today. But they're doing it against an all-time great quarterback, too. So you can just get a little taste of how good they are defensively.
Foles has only thrown 20 interceptions in his entire career as Stace tries a stiff arm, and he's dragged out of bounds. down and goal coming up.
Well, and again, there was nothing there, and he's still able to elude the initial defender and fight for those couple of yards and make it into a positive gain.
An opportunity here for the defending champion Spring Grove Lions to stand up here at the end zone after a turnover. Ball is at the 4-yard line for Mountain Lake area. Stace rolls out, has time, throws to the end zone, tapped and incomplete.
Great play call there. They kind of overloaded the right side with play action going to the left. Not an easy thing for a right-handed quarterback, and I thought that play was really well defended.
Jesse Jepson was trying to tip it to himself and stay in bounds, but couldn't do both of those things on that play.
Well, and Chandler Bergrud, number 6 for Spring Grove. Watch him fly into the screen right there, and I think that just made that throw go a little higher than what Stace wanted to. So very well defended, and this is setting up a really big 4th down here for Mountain Lake.
Spring Grove trying a goal line stand. They go the opposite direction. A little trick play. Stace is going to be short. A turnover on downs here for the Spring Grove defense.
What a great play call, great execution. But how about Noah Elton? That was a fantastic effort. It looked like he was going to get blocked in, and that play was going to score. Just fantastic. Watch the 28 in the middle of your screen. He reads it right away, and I thought he was going to get blocked in. That's just great effort, getting over the top of that block and being able to make the play. That's not an easy tackle. Look at that effort, getting off that block. Never quit, and that's why you do pursuit drill, Sloan, every day from fall practice all the way through to the prep bowl, and there's a reason you do it, because you never quit on a play. Great execution, but just fantastic defense by Spring Grove.
They will take over at their own 2-yard line. So while they get that goal line stop, not a great situation to be in, even for this outstanding offense. Foles has it himself, snakes his way through a couple tacklers and is short of a 1st down.
Yeah, but nice play on 1st down. You can see they're motioning a receiver across just basically to bring in an extra blocker. And really their biggest success has been Alex Foles running up the middle of the field. And look at that semifinal game where he had 4 throwing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. So he counted for 7 touchdowns in a game.
There's been some games where he has scored every touchdown because he's also the kicker. Wasn't unusual to see.
Yep.
Here is Foles. Little shimmy shake and pops out of a would-be gang tackle to pick up a couple more. We are going to continue this Spring Grove drive in just a moment here on 45 TV. This is the 9-man championship.
And other essential metals that make this broadcast possible.
Back here on 45 TV, the defending champion Spring Grove Lions leading Mountain Lake area 14-6 in what's been an aggressive, a hard-hitting 1st quarter. Very exciting one, too.
Well, 2 things that stand out. One, the hard hitting. We're seeing just great collisions, great runs, great tackles. But, you know, you normally when you look at stats during the course of a game, whoever wins that turnover battle is usually going to be ahead or win that football game. Spring Grove, 2 early interceptions by Foles, but still maintaining that 14-6 lead and driving as well.
Ball is spotted on the 14-yard line for Spring Grove, continuing this drive after a huge goal line stop. That's complete to Noah Elton. The tackle by Zachary Spinks.
For the difference on that throw, do you see how Foles was able to really plant that back foot and drive the ball in? A couple of his interceptions kind of hung in the air. There you take a look at Spring Grove Lions, District 9 Southeast.
That's right. They are the Section 1 champions, and Section 1 has won the 9-man prep bowl for 5 years. This could be the 6th if Spring Grove is able to win after that dynasty by Grand Meadow. 2nd down and 1. Foles through the middle, easily the 1st down before he's finally pinned to the ground as this drive continues to move.
Well, they ran the option. That time he kept it. And I tell you, I don't think he gets enough credit. Watch him turn north and south right there. you have to have such great footwork, and you got to be quick. You don't have to be fast, but he just knows. You have that intuition of when to tuck it and run, and he's so elusive. And again, I think the other thing he does better than anyone I've seen in high school football this year is he fights for those extra 2-3 yards after contact.
Foles is up over 50 yards passing and rushing. Fake handoff there. Here's the screen to Elton, trying to sneak around some tacklers, but he is easily wrapped up. In on the play there on the tackle was Jesse Jepson.
I'll tell you, Mace Herrig, number 43, made that play for Mountain Lake. As that's a kind of a quick screen, and you got to get off the blocker. Look at him fight through that block, get the initial contact, which slowed Elton, and then you see great team defense there. But that play, Herrick getting off that initial blocker and slowing it down. We saw Spring Grove Sloan last week. They ran that quick bubble screen probably 15 times, and it really never was guarded. And that time, excellent defense by Mountain Lake.
2nd down and 9 early in the 2nd quarter. Tyler Kirsten, another great run for him, will move the chains.
Yeah, and you can tell right now Spring Grove has ran that option, and they've ran it really successful every time. They're finding something that they like against this Mountain Lake defense. Great pitch, but watch the block right there. Great kick out by Noah Elton, and a nice job reading that by Kirsten and getting up the field, and a big play for a 1st down.
This offense fires in so many areas, but the blocking really is something to watch that all levels of football can appreciate how they execute. Foles facing pressure, escapes the pocket, and he's gonna haul this one through the air. Dakota Boyd not able to catch it.
You could tell Alex Foles was caught there. Do I throw it? If he would have kept that, he had a lot of room in front of him. But I think at the last second, he saw Boyd wide open, tried to get that over the defender, and hard to do it when you're throwing on the run. You can't plant. And another almost completion, but also very well defended, too, by Mountain Lake.
Mace Herrig in on defending that pass. He really just slung that one, hoping it would connect. Instead, it's 2nd down and 10 from their own 44. Kirsten right next to Foles, and he escapes the sack over the middle of the field. That's incomplete.
Well, just to get out of that, not being sacked is really remarkable. But that's David Larson, who set the school record with 15.5 sacks coming into this game, and you can see why. Watch his move here to get to the backfield. Beautiful job, and Alex Foles is slippery, and he's a strong kid. You have to wrap him up. Even though he didn't complete that, heck of a job just avoiding the sack.
David Larson came to Mountain Lake area in 10th grade. Didn't play much as a sophomore. His mother is the principal of the school, and she's been very supportive of the program, and now he's he's a one-way player, only defensive end for him. And there are whistles, a flag.
False start on the center, number 77. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
This entire offensive line are brand new to starting for Spring Grove. That is Kyle Hagan, the center Wyatt Murphy, number 77, and Calvin Silling, too, after that state championship winning team. They all graduated.
Well, they graduated a lot of players that were very, very big in their role of winning last year.
Only 3 returning starters.
Only 3, but 3 very good players, right? And obviously, Alex Foles being one of them, Noah Elton coming back. So they got some very talented ones that came back, but they had to plug in a lot of spots, no question.
3rd and 15. There's the sack, but Foles still trying to hold on to it. Eventually it comes out.
Well, the whistle blew before that last hit.
Cade Cremeen gets a big hit on Foles.
Well, that was a coverage sack, right? I mean, he had time, Foles did. Nowhere to go with the ball, and again, you can see that pressure collapsing from the outside. Excellent defense by Mountain Lake.
You don't often see defenses do this to Spring Grove. They have been dominant this entire season. They have a win streak now that's at 27 games. To see Foles face this kind of pressure when he has so much composure in the pocket, it's really uncommon. Here is Willoughby. Spins his way for a pickup of a couple. It is 14-6 in the 9-man championship game. Spring Grove in the lead.
questions about Medicare, especially when they need to rethink their plans. So what do? Go out and answer those questions. UCare is hosting Medicare meetups, places where our best figure-outers will answer all your Medicare questions. We can even get you signed up and ready to go in about 10 minutes or less. Find one near you or explore our plans at ucare.org/Medicare.
Hey, sports fans, we hope you're enjoying the game.
And we hope that you'll join us weeknights for the 45 TV local news at 9.
That's right. Turn to 45 TV to get more local news at a convenient time.
Penalty, poor comedic timing on the news team, replay words.
We weren't even trying to be funny.
Penalty, illegal use of language, automatic disqualification.
If you can't watch the tournament games on 45 TV, you can stream them for free at prep45.com. So if you're not able to follow your team, come here to US Bank Stadium, get in front of a TV. There's no excuse not to follow along with your favorite team. And also, of course, follow some great football. Abraham Stace completes to Harder before he is wrapped up by Kyle Hagan.
What a play by Noah Elton. That screen, again, run very, very well. But Noah Elton took on 2 or 3 blockers there. Just did not allow Harder with any alleys, any lanes there to get up the field. That looked like it was going to go for some big yards, but really well defended.
Elton has been incredibly solid today as a senior. He is a 4-year starter. In that game against RTR, he went away from being a linebacker and was put as a cornerback on their top receiver. That is how much confidence they have in Noah Elton. Here is Mace Herring, who explodes for his first big play of today and a first down.
Well, we just haven't said his name much as far as getting the ball, and he's one of their 1,000-yard rushers, and he's a little bit of change of pace. You can see how much speed he has. Watch him fly into your screen here. He doesn't need much. Give him a seam, and he can get to that second level, and if you don't wrap him up, he can score every time he touches the ball.
Chandler Bergerud there does wrap him up, kind of tugging on his jersey, too.
Again, you can see that 2,000-yard rusher's first time in school history.
Abraham Stace will hand it off. It is Harder again, and he won't gain much. Here's a look at Mountain Lake area as a community. Technically, this Mountain Lake area football team consists of Mountain Lake High School and Mountain Lake Christian. There are 2 players from the Christian school on this team, including Abraham Stace. They are the Section 3 champions.
And you can see they're 8.
And they're one of the biggest 9-man schools you're going to see, which is reflected in their big roster.
Well, it's funny when you watch some previous games this year, you see their sideline comparative to other 9-man schools. They just almost double the amount of football players.
Abraham Stace looking deep to the end zone, knocked away by Dakota Boyd. That was intended for number 7, Ethan Nickel.
Well, a great play by Boyd. I actually thought it looked like that might go for a touchdown there. You can see you never want to allow a receiver to get behind you. But that time he was watching the ball. So many cornerbacks don't make a play on the football. They never turn their head around. That time he got squared around. He had full contact and eye vision on that ball. Great job tipping it away.
3rd down and 7 at the 33-yard line from Mountain Lake area. And the ball comes loose. It's going to be picked up by Spring Grove, recovered by Ethan Matsky.
And again, we talked turnovers all week. What's one thing that could derail Mountain Lake area? And Coach Kirk said, taking care of the football, we cannot turn it over. And that's the second time they put it on the ground.
6:30 left in the second quarter. We'll have more of this 9-man championship coming up on 45 TV.
Believe in me.
Today's practice hero.
Tomorrow's go-getter.
Every student dreams, but there's only one place that gives every dream a chance.
Public schools with professional educators
who believe in we.
We're PolyMet Mining's biggest fans. Students and educators are excited about this new era of mining in Minnesota and the opportunities, jobs, and funding that will come with it. Because leading the way is what Minnesotans do.
Order new packing peanuts.
What?
They're stale. I'm upgrading the toilet paper. Soft, huh? Here are the new safety vests I ordered. Huh? What do you think?
What's he doing now?
Testing the hard hats.
I'm okay.
Western National can cover your business and your home. With Western National, you'll have to find something else to worry about.
A great show of fans for these small communities in nine-man football. Today's Fan Cam brought to you by 45 TV. I love hearing the stories about all the fan buses. Spring Grove, a town of only 1,400, Mountain Lake area about 2,100, and they show up really, really well.
Well, most of the community is here. I know from Mountain Lake area, they said a lot of people would be at the Den watching the game as well. So very, very big. And that's what's so fun about high school football, particularly at this level, is just the community support.
Here is Matsky, who is swarmed just short of the first down by multiple tacklers. They just getting the ball back after a lost fumble by Mountain Lake area.
Well, Matsky gets the fumble. Of course, he gets the first play out of after the turnover as well.
2 turnovers for Spring Grove. They have 2 interceptions thrown up by Alex Foles and 1 punt as well. 2nd down and 1 at the 45 for the Lions. In motion is Elton. They'll hand it off to Tyler Kirsten, who takes his time, and he gets over the 50-yard line.
What a great block by number 69, Calvin Silling there, playing that guard position. He just completely manhandled his defender, and that was a huge gap. I'm 39 now and not very fast. I think I might have been able to run there. Watch the kick out right there. And again, you don't necessarily have to drill him and move him. You just got to get in the way, and that was a great pull. Nice job, great execution.
Calvin Silling is one of the 3 players who joined this championship winning team midway through last year. 15 months ago, he wasn't playing football. Here is Alex Foles. He will be pushed back, and it'll be 2nd down.
And I'll tell you what's deceiving, too, is even a play like that where it looks like it's a very good play for the defense, still 4 yards on first down. And you can see, I mean, just in terms of running the football, I came into this thinking Mountain Lake area would dominate the running attack. Spring Grove 10 rushing first down so far in this game, Mountain Lake 4. So you're seeing a lot more, you know, ground and pound with Alex Foles in this rushing game for Spring Grove as opposed to through the air.
2nd down and 6. There's the option. Kirsten again cannot plow over that defender that time, and he'll pick up a couple. Let's check in with Allie Arlt on the sideline.
Sloan, we know how prolific of a player Alex Foles has been, so I asked Coach Hauser, what's it been like to coach him? And he said, you know, Alex is just a special player. He has the confidence and talent to make any play out on that football field. He said having a dual quarterback threat in Alex running the offense makes it hard for that opposing defense. He said a lot of teams have tried to take away either the run or the pass, and he's done a great job just taking whatever the defense gives us. He said Alex is a very smart player, and it's like having a coach on the field at all times.
Tyler Kirsten is brought down on 2nd down by Drake Harder. You really run out of superlatives when it comes to Alex Foles.
Well, even this play, this is an option, and it's not easy. You have to really trust your quarterback, Sloan, to be able to left or right, the timing that goes involved with that. I thought that play was going to go for a first down. That was a great tackle by Drake Harder coming into your screen there. And that's going to set up, it's going to be 4th and short, and this could be big right at, you know, right around midfield here. This is big for Mountain Lake and their defense.
Very spread out here for Spring Grove. Up by 1 score, and Foles is going to motion for a timeout. We will take it as well. Join us back here for more 9-man football on 45 TV.
Whether you are
here on 45 TV, Ryan, you really don't know exactly what's going to happen here on 4th and 3. We've already seen 1 fake punt by Spring Grove, but here they are in Mountain Lake area territory. And they're going to be going for it. It is Foles. He's hammered hard, but he has it on 4th down.
Do you see how he finished his run? I mean, that was unreal. He knew right where that marker was. You know, that's that's the thing. Great players, obviously, they're physically gifted, but he's very cerebral. He knows where that spot is. Watch right there. I mean, he just goes right through Harder, and he gets right. That ball's right at that line. I think he got a nice spot there as well. But how about the call? Just give it to your quarterback up the middle. I trust you. I know you're going to finish it. That's how you finish runs off. You get low, and you see those legs driving, and you see about 5 or 6 jerseys there trying to pull it back. That was a big-time conversion.
Fresh set of downs for Foles, who will do the same again, right up the middle before he is brought down by Ethan Nickel.
Well, another thing too, Sloan, is you take for granted how good a shape he is in, right? As a quarterback, he's running the football so much. He's taking a beating. He's been hit and hit and hit. He's also delivering tackles and as a safety spot as well. So to get up and to play with that energy and to still have that speed, you got to be in great physical shape as well.
Plus being a 3-sport athlete, that's a lot of wear and tear on your body. He also plays basketball and is a pitcher and second baseman in baseball. Foles.
Oh, nice play.
That's Isaac Grab who pulls him down. That's their nose tackle, showing his power on that play.
Well, he's 6'2", 260, Isaac is, and you don't want to run into that number 74. You're very rarely are you going to go forward after that. Nice job, good initial hit there.
And he was double teamed on that play too.
And you can see that the pressure coming from the outside. Nice job by Foles stepping up. Unfortunately, you don't want to step up into big number 74. Very few times are you going to get out of that grasp.
3rd down and 2, ball at the Mountain Lake area, 32-yard line. In motion is Matsky. He'll go lay a block for Foles, who pushes it through.
Well, how tough is that? You bring Ethan Matsky, 6'3", 225 pounds. You bring him in basically as a fullback leading through, and when you only have to get 2 or 3 yards, that's something he's going to be able to do. And watch him follow that blocker. And again, I love how Alex Foles finishes his runs. That is so underrated. So many guys stand straight up. He fights, he lowers, and he lowers with that shoulder, and he fights and fights. And it doesn't seem like much, but it's first downs like that he converts continuously to keep drives going.
2 minutes left in the half. As Foles 1st down and 10. Escapes some pressure, still being pursued. He throws incomplete.
I'll tell you how good has Mountain Lake been on their pass defense here. I mean, there's just nowhere to go down the field. And I think Foles, too, noticing after he threw those first 2 interceptions, he's not going to take chances right now. He knows how good they are in that secondary.
We've seen Foles, to do what he needs to do, he needs that space and that time by his offensive line to run that spread offense, to give him the ability to take off on the run. But he's been facing a lot of pressure in this one.
When you see that pressure's coming from the outside, he does a nice job. He's got that innate ability to sense when pressure's coming. He steps up, but there's just been nobody open down the field.
2nd down and 10. After that incomplete pass, this one time he's going to toss it over, and it's another interception. That is Drake Harder, who picks up interception number 3 by Alex Foles in this first half.
And again, that was a screen play, and as a quarterback, you got to sense that. If there's no one there, you got to throw that one away. And that ball just, again, hangs in the air. Nice job by Harder. I mean, that's a diving play. That's a great catch. And I'll tell you, this Mountain Lake area defense, they have come to play today. They've given up 14 points, but they've also taken 3 interceptions, and they've defended the pass extremely well.
It's a tough decision to make. I'm not even sure who that was intended for.
Yeah, it looked like a middle screen that they were trying to set up, but it just never materialized.
As Abraham stays, he'll hand off to Mace Herring, who is able to pick up a few on 1st down. Mountain Lake area has scored 1 touchdown. That was a 52-yard run by their quarterback, Abraham Stace.
Well, you can see that second to last possession there where it's 4 plays for 7 yards down. They had that ball, within the 10-yard line. That's when they needed to punch in. So it was a big stop by Spring Grove. But I'm telling you, if Mountain Lake area can take care of the football and sustain a drive, they're going to be right back into this game.
Following blockers is Stays before he's pushed out of bounds by Kyle Hagan. We've seen 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles in this one by 2 undefeated teams in the first half as we are under a minute 30 left before halftime.
Yeah, and again, you're seeing Mountain Lake's offense, great balance, right? Some power running up the middle, using their athletes, using that offensive line to kind of wear down Spring Grove. But just when you start to defend that, you can see Abraham Stace keeps it, gets to the outside where he's got some great speed.
1st and 10 for the Wolverines. There is Stace, and he will just pitch that out to Harder, who is immediately taken down.
That's a dangerous play, right? It's that shovel pass, and you got to have a little bit more space between quarterback and receiver there. Otherwise, that can be a tricky play. Nice job executing, didn't turn it over, but just nowhere to go. Nice tackle, too, by Ethan Matsky.
It was no gain on the play. 2nd down. Stace has time, but he's being chased by Matsky on his right side, and he throws incomplete.
And you can see there was some contact down there.
Ethan Nickel was wondering about that.
And it looked like he got tripped up. Now, the question is, if it's just accidental, your feet get tangled, that's something that the referees very rarely are going to call. Yeah, you can see it looked like their feet got tangled up.
But eyes were on the ball, too.
Yep, I think that's a good job by the officials there, letting that go. But I like the shot down the field by Mountain Lake. I think they have to be able to take shots down the field to soften up that front 5 there of Spring Grove to be able to run the ball even more effectively.
3rd down and 10 for Stace. He completes to Nickel. Gets through a tackle by Boyd, who will hold on to bring him down for a tackle.
You know what's been maybe the most impressive thing about this game is the form tackling by both sides. Again, watch Boyd, watch how low he gets here on this tackle. You haven't seen a lot of missed tackles. Both of those guys really down low. And you know, the old saying that the low man wins in the game of football. Both of these teams and their defenses in particular, excellent tackling.
You don't always see a Josh Allen hurdling someone in games.
No, but that was a nice gain there for Mountain Lake. That's going to set up that kind of 4th and short right around midfield. Interesting to see if they keep their offense here and try to go for that 1st down. The downfall, of course, if you don't make it, you give a short field to Alex Foles with still plenty of time left, and Spring Grove with 1 timeout too. So, you know, this is one of those. I think if I'm Coach Tim Kirk right now, I punt this ball and I say I trust my defense with 44 seconds left to not give up a big play.
It'll be 4th down and 3. Ball at the 45-yard line with 44 seconds left before halftime. We haven't seen any scores in the 2nd quarter. Ethan Matsky of Spring Grove trying to get his side of the field fired up. Good crowd here on both sides for these small communities.
And we don't want to jump off sides.
Got louder for Stace on the snap. He tries to get it, but he's going to be held short, I think.
Well, it's going to depend where they put that marker.
I don't think he was able to get as much extension as he was hoping.
I think they're going to have to measure it.
Got timeout for measurement.
Right up the middle, Alex Foles came back from the safety spot, and he met Stace. Nice lead block by Harder, and there you can see number 8. Great athletic ability by Stace, too, to get up into the air. That was really well defended and executed. That was a fun play. And he's going to be short. Oh, he got it by just a nose.
Less than a nose. He was able to convert the 4th down play.
It really is a game of inches, and we've said that a couple times here in the 1st half. And how about Stace flying through the air, reminiscent of John Elway there, airborne, picking up a big 4th down conversion.
1st and 10 with 38 seconds left for Stace. Has time in the pocket. He completes to Harder. He'll be pulled out of bounds.
And I like those play calls too, Sloan. They're not taking shots right down the field. It's a conservative, nice approach, a screen pass, a safe pass, and you can get out of bounds. You get a nice gain of 5 or 6 yards too, and you get to save those 2 timeouts. So with 30 seconds left, remember in high school football, 1st downs, the play clock does stop. So you got plenty of time if you're Mountain Lake.
Mountain Lake, 30 seconds to see if they can try and tie the game before halftime. Going deep is Stace. And that's complete. That is complete for a touchdown. Number 81, Sam Paulson.
Wow. I defense. What a ball by Abraham Stace. And Sam Paulson, who we haven't said his name hardly at all today, gets to the outside and gets deep. What a throw. This was just a teardrop. Look at this ball.
Just dropping it into his outstretched hands. Noah Elton was right there next to him, and he's able to run into the end zone, making it 14-12.
You couldn't have thrown a better ball. That ball had a good 40, 45 yards in the air, and he didn't overthrow it. Had great height on it, too. And, you know, as a defender, especially towards the end of a half, you're constantly being told, do not let anyone behind you. And sometimes you get caught watching the ball. And that time, just a great route by Sam Paulson and an even better throw by that gentleman right there. Wow.
They convert off the interception for an 8-play, 73-yard drive. Took a minute 41. Completed by a 47-yard pass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can see on the replay there. So a 9-man football slowing that yellow line as the out-of-bounds line. And he clearly was a good foot or two out of bounds. That's going to be coming back.
The field is 40 yards wide, and this is why we look at replays. Yeah. This is why the state decided to take the plunge and do it.
And I think it's a great idea because you want to get it right. But you can see right here, you're going to see he's a good foot out of bounds.
It is clear.
Yeah. You know what? And Noah Elton was playing the sideline. And that's a great job of our camera crew seeing that and finding that, and that's definitely, of course, what they're taking a look at.
So that's why we are pausing here for the replay crew. They are looking at all these different camera angles, and they are looking at change of possession. They look at scoring plays. So this is the interaction right here. The gentleman in the vest is listening to the replay booth, and this is a look at the replay rules. So we're looking at all plays in the last 2 minutes of the half and overtime. MSHSL officials say it takes, they're hoping for about 90 seconds per review. 5 were overturned in 14 games last week during the semifinals.
You know what? I love it. I just think you want to get it right, especially in a prep bowl where your legacy is up to play, right? Winning a state championship, such a big deal.
After reviewing the play, the receiver stepped out of bounds. There is no touchdown. Stepping out of bounds and coming back in bounds to participate in the play, we've got illegal participation. That is a 15-yard penalty. We will go back to the previous line of scrimmage and move it back 15 yards. Second down.
You know, that's, yeah, go ahead.
An excellent explanation for sure. And credit to the referees who are volunteering here. They just do it for the love of the game, and really great work there on that play to get it right.
Oh, they got it right, and what a big change of momentum here. Mountain Lake thinks they had a big play, and with a chance to tie it right before halftime, and now obviously not only do you negate the touchdown, but you lose 15 yards. Yeah, I
Zach Hauser, or rather Tim Kirk, is going to want to be arguing that he got pushed out of bounds.
See, I think Noah Elton did a nice job of playing the sideline, right? You'd be knowing where that sideline is. I wondered how he could get beyond him, you know, behind him there, and now you kind of see why. There looked to be a little bit of contact, and that's the question. Did you get pushed out, or did you run, you know, voluntarily out of bounds? And Coach Kirk isn't going to like that call, but if you're a Spring Grove fan, you certainly are going to like that call. But either way, you as a coach and a team, whatever call is made is now how do you respond, right? You still have time. You got to make another big play.
It's a tough break for Mountain Lake area. We have 22 seconds on the clock. Spring Grove up by 1 touchdown, 14-6. Mountain Lake area was not able to convert a 2-point try on their touchdown in the first quarter. We haven't seen any scoring here in the second. Almost had one there. It will be officially second down and 20 at the Mountain Lake area 39-yard line.
How about both of these defenses making adjustments and just shutting out the other team's offense here in the second quarter? It's been a really fun game to watch.
3rd and 20, a fake pass from Stace, and he has brought down Kyle Hagan on the defensive line with the sack.
Well, nice job by Kyle Hagan that time, coming in and wrapping up and just not allowing Stace to step into that ball. And nice job secondary-wise, too, allowing nothing to get beyond you. I'm sure Coach Hauser told those guys in that delay, do not let anyone get behind you, and a nice job.
And that will do it for the half. We don't see that touchdown, so officially it will be 14, the defending champions leading Mountain Lake area 14-6.
You look at both of these offenses, you know, with Mountain Lake, you know, just the average of 45 points per game, and Spring Grove putting up 45 points per game. If you would have told me it was going to be 14-6 at half, I don't think I would have believed you, Sloan. This has just been a great job of defenses stepping up to the occasion here, stopping some very, very good offensive football.
We saw a really exciting first quarter. Did see some turnovers in there as well, which sometimes you might expect in a championship game with things just being very excited and having that pressure on these players, but still quality football in that first half.
Yeah, absolutely. You saw, you know, Spring Grove march down on the opening possession and score, and you thought, oh, maybe this is Spring Grove. And, you know, then Mountain Lake had the fumble, but got the interception right back, and they answered with the touchdown. So really exciting. I think we're seeing some great individual performances, great quarterback play, but I just have been so impressed defensively with both teams.
Well, they'll have to give it everything they have in the second half to determine the 9-man champion. We are going to step aside for halftime, but stay with us here on 45 TV. The 9-man championship has the reigning champions leading 14-6. We will have more coming up here on 45 TV.
Join us on Saturday.
14-6 Spring Grove leading Mountain Lake area. Let's go to Allie Earl.
Coach, 2 turnovers, but this is still a 1-possession game. What changes need to happen here in the second for your team?
We just need to, this is the first time we've been behind all, half all year, so we just need to execute. We were a little sloppy the first half, but credit to them. They're a great team. But we're within a touchdown, and we get the ball first, so we just got to keep playing hard, and we got to play better. We got to block better. We're doing a nice job with Foles. He's still going to make plays, but if we can score here right away, it's definitely going to be a great game. But we just got to do things a little bit better. We talked about at halftime about just clearing your minds, because we're playing a great team. We've blown out a lot of teams and been out third quarter, halftime, and now they're playing a real game. So now we're going to see what we're made of, and I think they're going to do fine.
Thank you, Coach.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you, Allie. 14-6 at the half. This first possession, this first drive, Ryan, I think is going to tell us a lot to set the tone here for the second half.
Absolutely. And you remember, they had a touchdown called back right before halftime. So high school sports, particularly football, how do you get that momentum back, right? And, you know, this is where I think Spring Grove, they beat Russell Tyler Ruthven 27-26 in the quarterfinals. They were trailing with 2 minutes left, so they've played with their backs against the wall. That was one of the concerns I had on Mountain Lake area, is they've just blown everyone out. Now it's a real football game. They
trailed 6-0 against Verndale in the state quarterfinals, but came back to win 23-6. That return by Mace Herring will start this Mountain Lake area drive, the first of the second half.
Yeah, and you look at just some of the stats from that first half. One is Spring Grove, 156 yards rushing. Lake area only gives up 88 per game. So as good as their defense has, they have given up some yards to Spring Grove. But offensively, I think they got to get that guy involved, number 43, Mace Herring. He's got that great speed. They got to get him involved, see if they can run outside the tackles, too.
Both teams held scoreless in the second quarter. Here is Stace, and that's just off the fingertips of Brett Willoughby, and you can see how upset he was slamming down on the ground. That could have been a home run play.
Well, he's their leading receiver as far as number of receptions. I love the play call right out of the bat here, out of halftime. Take a shot down the field, and really well thrown, just a little bit too far, and you can see the frustration. That was very close to being a big play there right out of the gate. But again, I like the call. I think you have to have balance. You have to throw the ball downfield, because what you're doing too, Sloan, is it's setting up the rest of your running attack as well.
Second down and 10. Ball at the 34-yard line. Stace still has time here. Throwing near the sideline is caught by Herrick, who escapes a couple tackles. He's still going. Gets by Bergerud before he's finally taken down. A big play for Mountain Lake area, looking to tie this game.
Well, great patience that time by Stace, and watch him. I thought he was thrown right into traffic. He threw a bullet and a great catch and concentration by Herrick. And then great blocking down the field, too, and fighting for every extra yard. Nice job. You see 2 early passes here coming out of halftime. I love the calls.
Mace Herrig is someone they'll probably want to lean on here in the second half.
I just think he's that big play ability guy with his speed. You can see how elusive he is and crafty, too.
Stace frees himself over the middle of the field, tapped in. That will fall incomplete.
Good coverage by Bierke that time. And you have a tendency as a defensive back to have contact before that ball arrives. He did a nice job. Look at him not contacting him. You couldn't defend that any better than that. Great arm, batting that ball down. Excellent defense. And again, you can see an effort here to establish throwing the football. I don't think that's what Mountain Lake wants to do. I think they're doing it really to set up the rest of their offense.
Second down and 10 after the incompletion. In motion is Harder. Stace being patient, finds the seam up the middle. He rolls himself some extra yardage.
You bring Harder, who's that big kid, extra blocker up the middle, and I'll tell you what, Stace had almost 100 yards in the first half. That time, big gain for a first down. And I'll tell you what was really telling for me is when Allie was interviewing Tim Kirk, did you notice the confidence that he spoke with? This drive is really going to set up the game, and you could kind of tell he knew they were sitting maybe on a big drive.
He knows how good Spring Grove is, and he knows how close they are. First down and 10. Stiff arm from Stace. He gets tripped up, though, for a short gain. Stace, 10 rushes, 105 yards, and a touchdown, including that one that went for 52 yards in the first quarter.
Yeah, and one thing, too, we talk about Foles, but Stace is really elusive. There's a great stiff arm. You see him breaking those tackles. His touchdown run, he broke 4 or 5 tackles on that as well. So he's got some great strength. And the key with all these running backs and quarterbacks is they keep their legs moving. And that's what all great runners do, whether, receiver, running back, quarterback, keep those legs moving.
Dakota Boyd has had a solid game defensively. His brother George was on the championship-winning team last year. And here he is bottled up in the backfield. Harder. That is Hagan, who was not able, or excuse me, that was Hagan who made the tackle. Harder was not able to move forward on the play.
Well, Kyle Hagan came into this game, their leading tackler, 129 tackles. He's got 5.5 tackles for loss, too, and what a great athletic play as a defensive end. Watch him read this, and you can see him sprint right to that ball. That's just a phenomenal play, and again, what a form tackle. Look at this formation. You got 4 stacked receivers up at the top of our screen.
3rd and 15, and a tackle for loss. Dakota Boyd, I just gave him a shout-out in there, coming up huge defensively.
And I think that was going to be a double pass. Watch this. I think a receiver was releasing, but you talk about beating that initial block. That was a heck of a play by Dakota Boyd. He sensed it coming, and look at the speed. He closed on it. Not only do you got to close on it, but you got to be a sure tackler, too. And, boy, can both of these teams tackle. So you bend, but you don't break, right? And they gave up some big yards with 2 back-to-back tackles for loss, setting up a 4th and very long.
4th and 22 officially. They're going for it here in a championship game in opposing territory. Stace throws it long out of bounds, and that will be a turnover on downs.
I love what Mountain Lake they did on offense right there. They came out throwing, got some big plays. They got Mace Herrig involved in the passing game, but then Spring Grove making those 2 big plays, tackles for loss, changed the outcome of that drive.
Still 14-6, Spring Grove in the lead on 45 TV.
Black Friday means the best tech.
The third quarter is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs.
Back here at U.S. Bank Stadium, just a 1-score game in the 9-man title game between the reigning champions Spring Grove Lions and the Mountain Lake area Wolverines. Brand new drive here for Spring Grove after they forced a turnover on downs. Foles not able to shimmy his way for much on that first play.
Again, just great tackling, quarterback on quarterback there. We've seen that a couple times today, but Stace coming up. They just are very sure tacklers. Both teams are. Great ball fake. Tried to get to the outside. That's the other thing. I mean, so many big plays in high school and youth football are because you get speed to the outside. both of these defenses really play outside in. There's just nowhere to go on the outside.
Just a gain of 1 on that play. In motion is Elton. Here is Foles on the far side of the field. Still skipping his way for extra yardage, and he tumbles for more and a first down.
A little bit different formation. They kept a running back next to Foles, and then they motioned another wide receiver. So he had 2 blockers in your picture, and great block down. You can see on the top of our screen there, excellent block, gets to the outside, and really one of the first big explosive plays that we've seen from Alex Foles in the running game.
How about Isaac Grev making his way all the way over there, the big nose tackle, following the play, continuing to pursue it down the field. 1st and 10 at the 45 there in Mountain Lake area territory. Here's Foles. He heaves it. It's left a little bit short, but knocked down, intended for Dakota Boyd.
How about Dakota Boyd playing defensive back there, right? He could tell that ball was going to be underthrown. And rather than just giving up on it, watch him reach across the defender there and bat it down. That's a championship play. That's not going to show up in a stat sheet. But Herrick could have had an interception. Instead, Boyd says, no, you're not getting that interception. And he bats it down. Heads up play by Dakota Boyd.
That's the kind of awareness you want to see at this level in a championship game. 2nd down and 10. Foles will hand it off. Tyler Kirsten had a strong second quarter, and another big burst from him again.
Yep, nice play. And again, I think Foles, they're so effective when he does hand it off and when he does do the option, because so much attention is placed on him. And again, just by having him, watch him freeze the linebackers just enough there. Nice kick out block. And Carson's had a big game running the football.
Drake Harder did a nice job there too, because that could have been an even bigger play had he not gotten any time. 5 yards to go. Ball at the 40. Foles the option again. It is Kirsten, ball in his right hand, and he is driven to the ground for a first down.
And again, Kai Bierke, number 2, out on the edge there. Great block downfield, just holding the defensive back up just enough so that could free up for a first down. Again, that option to the left. I don't want to overstate this either. Do you know how hard it is for a right-handed person to pitch the ball with your left hand like that and to be that accurate? And again, you see that great block to the right of our screen. And again, another big hit. Both teams are hitting. Running backs are finishing their runs. This is a physical football game.
Spring Grove depended on that bubble screen play a lot in their semifinal win, but here it's been Kirsten in that option. We haven't seen Noah Elton as much as Foles is able to drive for a couple of yards. Let's check in on the sideline with Allie Arlt.
Ryan, you just mentioned Kai Bierke. You know, he's one of 4 seniors who have no varsity experience, and here's why. Kai Bierke hasn't played football since junior high because after repeated concussions in basketball, his parents just wouldn't allow him to play anymore. Then right before football season this year, Kai turned 18, and he pushed his parents with strong opinions to let him play, and they finally did. And if he didn't, Spring Grove might not be here, as Kai caught the game-winning touchdown in the quarterfinals with just 30 seconds left in the game.
Alex Foles on 2nd down and 6. Thank you, Allie. And we want to say for the record that Tim Kirk does say his parents have gotten on board. They're all okay with this now. This wasn't like a sign of mutiny when you turn 18 and you just want to rebel against your parents. But he's had a fantastic season for them. You see him used in their blocking schemes a lot, and how much this coaching staff trusts him to be kind of the focal point of their offense or around it.
Well, what's so great about the game of football, Sloan, is that everybody has to do their job. Alex Foles is going to get a lot of credit because he's got a lot of just gaudy statistics, but if everyone else doesn't do their job, you know, the offense doesn't work. So he's a big component of that.
Foles to Noah Elton, who bobbled it quickly. A game tackle near the sideline. Harder in on that play. Grev there as well.
And again, so tough to defend because it looks like Foles is going to keep it and run. And you have that tendency as an outside linebacker or defensive back to come back and tackle that. And it frees up just a little bit. Nice block down the field, too. And if you can get in that 3rd and manageable, Sloan, where it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, these kind of plays are just deadly. They're just hard to defend.
They'll bring up a fresh set of downs here. Ball at the 24-yard line to Spring Grove. They won the time of possession battle by quite a bit in the first half, 15 minutes to about 8 compared to Mountain Lake area. And this is another long drive working in their favor. Foles He is bottled up, but he will get over the 20-yard line.
You know, gain of 5 again, first down, nothing flashy, nothing big, but what they're doing is they're doing trips to one side, which is 3 wide receivers and a 4th receiver all the way to the left. So they're spreading that defense out, and they're just saying, hey, we trust Alex Foles to get us 4, 5, 6 yards every time he carries the ball, and it's so hard to defend. And we talk about time of possession too, Sloan. I thought Mountain Lake was going to dominate the time of possession. So far, it's been all Spring Grove.
Foles with the screen pass. Here's Elton, room to go. He's been taken out of bounds, but you see the mentality, how the whistle was already going and still trying to run, push that ball forward more.
You know, this is a play we saw a lot in the semifinals, that quick bubble screen. Again, great block by Bierke. I just love how Elton finishes too, right? I mean, you can tell, you know, that's a mentality that Spring Grove has. They finish through the whistle. And Noah Elton is such a hard guy to bring down, and they lower that shoulder. You got to bring your tackling boots to work when you're playing against Spring Grove.
You cannot get this far without discipline, and we see that from both sides of the ball. Noah Elton has 7 catches, 42 yards. Helmet is lost as Foles is able to sneak forward.
And this is going to be big because he's going to have to come out now for one play. So you're going to have a new quarterback in on this, and that can change your rhythm and obviously your play calling up. But this is what makes Alex Foles so great. There was contact in the backfield, and rather than a 1 or 2 yard loss, he still manages to go forward and gain 3 or 4. That's not going to show up in a highlight film or stats, but that's what changes, you know, down and distances consistently for Spring Grove.
Second down and goal at the 2, and they do not have Foles on this play. He lost his helmet, and per high school rules has to sit. So taking the snap is Chandler Bergerud. He will hand it off, and that defense immediately stuffs him.
And you can see they're just not as concerned with Bergerud keeping that. And that's why that play is effective when Foles is in the game, because so much attention is on him keeping the football. Great push by that defensive line. Watch us taking those blockers and just nowhere to go. Harder right there. You know, I said I wasn't going to use this, but Harder does tackle harder than most anybody else out there.
Oh, you did it, Ryan. You were waiting for it. Here's 3rd and goal. A pitch out to Tyler Kirsten. That is the 3rd touchdown today for Spring Grove. They're going to extend this lead to 2 touchdowns.
Well, think about the switch, right? Mountain Lake driving, looking like they might tie the game up. Big plays on defense for Spring Grove. And how do they respond? To me, this was a championship caliber drive. They just workmanlike 5-6 yards down, converted some 3rd downs, and you can see, watch Zach Hauser and his staff. Everyone's fired up. There's such a big difference, Sloan, when you go up by 2 scores.
Going for the 2-point conversion. There was some
Give me a flag there.
Contact there intended for Chandler Bergerud, and that should be going in favor of Spring Grove.
Got defensive pass interference, number 80, half the distance goal line. Replay the try.
Well, and here's why this is big. So it's a 14-point lead right now. If they get this 2-point conversion, then that's going to force Mountain Lake to have to get 2 touchdowns with 2-point conversion. So this is big. And you get down now to the, you know, 1.5 yard line. That's Alex Foles just leaning forward kind of time for him to be able to get a 2-point conversion.
It looks like Foles will be attempting an extra point now. He's their punter, their kicker, safety, quarterback. Really doesn't leave the field. Trying to make it 21-6 with 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. It's a little bit high, and that's going nowhere. The tackle from number 12, Stace. It's still a 2-touchdown lead for the reigning champions. How will Mountain Lake area respond? One more coming up here. 45 TV. Welcome back to 45 TV. It was a 13-play, 66-yard drive, and Ryan, Spring Grove chewed up almost 6 minutes of the clock.
Yeah, just really surprised that, you know, I thought Spring Grove was going to need big plays, right? Explosive plays, and they've just completely changed the course of that narrative and just grind it out. Kind of what I thought Mountain Lake was going to do today.
Mace Herrig almost loses it, uses his hand to keep the play live. We're going to step aside one more time. The drive will be starting soon for Mountain Lake area.
Join us on Saturday, December 15th at U.S. Bank Stadium to cheer on the state's best football players as they represent the North and South in the 46th annual Minnesota High School All-Star Game. Buy tickets at Vikings.com/showcase.
My local Catholic United rep, Denise, is down home.
She cares about her faith, is there when you need her,
Does what is right.
financially, for our family,
For our business.
for life's moments.
With life insurance.
She's there with her confident smile and that laugh.
Every step.
Every journey. Our rep Denise and Catholic United are there for life.
Find your Denise at CatholicUnitedFinancial.org.
Join us on Saturday, December 15th at U.S. Bank Stadium to cheer on the state's best football players as they represent the North and South in the 46th annual Minnesota High School All-Star Game. Buy tickets at Vikings.com/showcase.
Here's a look back at last year's championship game, brought to you by Old Dutch. Quality lives here.
In last year's 9-man championship, Spring Grove took on Nevis. Alex Foles of Spring Grove finished with 196 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Colin Patterson added 124 yards rushing as the Lions shut out Nevis 32-0. They finished the season 14-0 and picked up their first title in Prep Bowl history. Nevis ended the season at 11-2. First down and 10. First play of this drive for Mountain Lake area. That is Mace Herrig, who picks up a couple of yards.
Yep, and that's really kind of the first time today we've seen that jet sweep and get into the outside. That's Mace Herrig. That's his calling card, and really well blocked. That is a big gain on first down. You got to get that 7 yards like that, and I think if they can run outside, it's going to open up running inside as well.
We talked about it being a difference from a 1-possession game to now 2. I think there's a little more sense of urgency here for the Wolverines. Second down and 3 after a 7-yard pickup. And Mace Herrig is immediately bottled up to bring up third down.
Well, Calvin Silling right there just eating up his defender. Watch him get off this block. Just takes it on and watch him run right into it. You aren't running through that one. And what you start to feel right now, Sloan, is momentum building for Spring Grove, right? And you talked about urgency. You're down 14. Spring Grove doesn't have to do anything drastic yet. They can still be who they are, but they got to sustain this drive. They got to find a way to put points on the board on this drive.
An important third down opportunity here for Mountain Lake area down by 2 scores in Prep Bowl 37. They hand it off. Harder.
We gotta communicate.
It should be short.
Yep, great communication there by Mountain Lake. We got to see that really in real time. You could see the Mountain Lake coaching staff saw something they liked. They yelled out 52, and everyone looked at their armbands and got on the same page. So there's so much that goes into the play calling and formations and all that. And you can see great communication from staff to the field.
And how intricate it is. 9-man is no different in that way. 4th and 1. Spring Grove stuffing the line of scrimmage, but Harder comes out on top to pick up the first down.
Well, that was just great push up front by that offensive line. And, you know, one of the things we talked about, Sloan, was just the depth and would Mountain Lake be able to wear down the Spring Grove defensive line? And so far, it really hasn't happened. But on that big 4th down, it certainly worked, and they pick it up. That was a big-time conversion.
Mountain Lake area continuing to move the ball. Mace Herrig receives the ball, and he is tackled out of bounds. Chandler Bergerud in on the play.
You're starting to see rhythm, though, for the Wolverines, right? Some great different play calls, and you can see Herrig is getting his number called, and just a nice I formation, toss sweep. Look at those big jerseys out in front. That was a great tackle, too, by Bergerud, taking on the defender and still making that tackle. Otherwise, that could have been a really big play. But they're starting to get that 6-7 yards on first down. I think that's just critical for these Wolverines.
Second down and 4, totally manageable. Where you want to be. Ball is at the 44-yard line. Mace Herrig again was looking for a seam, couldn't find it. He was upset with that second down play.
because Kai Bierke came down and just went low, took out the blocker, and watch, there's just nowhere to go for Herrick. Watch number 2 right there, just goes low. Just an excellent job taking up space. That's what you want to do, especially against a speed running back like that. You just want to take low, let there be no alleys, no passageways to that second level. Really, really great defense.
That's the last play of the third quarter. It's a 20-6 lead for the reigning champions as we head into the fourth and Prep Bowl 37 here on 45 TV.
Introducing.
The fourth quarter is brought to you by Catholic United, life insurance, annuities, and retirement products.
Start of the fourth quarter here at U.S. Bank Stadium in the 9-man championship. The reigning champions, Spring Grove, leading 20-6. Mountain Lake area was held scoreless in that third quarter. They have not scored since the first. There is Abraham Stace running for a couple yards.
Yeah, he did a nice job that time. I think that play was designed to go up the middle. He saw there was no openings there, bounced it outside, and again, finished that run off, able to pick up a first down. Nice drive so far for Mountain Lake. I like what they're doing offensively.
First down and 10 at their own 49. Stace looked to be ill in the first half, but you have not seen any indication of it here. That is Brett Willoughby, who is tied up and taken down quickly to set up second down.
I'll tell you what, nice pass route, easy pass for the quarterback. And Stace, when he has time to plant that foot, he's got a great arm. He fired that in there. And again, I like what they're doing on first downs. They're not taking shots and setting up second and third and really long. They're getting 5-6 yards every time on first down. I really like that.
Tim Kirk, who you just saw in his 16th season, nearing 100 wins. He won't pick that up today. Even with one, he'll have to extend into next season. But both very experienced coaches on both sides of the ball.
Well, and Tim Kirk, too, what really makes this special, he played here, grew up in Mountain Lake. And, of course, coaching with his two sons, Carter and Jordan, you know, when I talked to him this week, he said, if we were to win a state championship, the most special thing about it would be doing that with my kids and having my boys, you know, who played here as well. Doing that with me is just monumental. And he said the community and how excited everyone is. These guys are playing for a whole lot more than just themselves.
Third down and 2. Here is Stace stripping his way forward near that marker, and he will move the chains for a first down.
Well, here's the other thing, too, to keep in mind. Abraham Stace, only a junior, right?
He started last year after his brother, Levi, was the quarterback for several years, but unfortunately his career was beset by injuries. He broke his fibula at one point, and then when he was healthy, there were some other injuries on the team. So I think Abraham comes in, according to Tim Kirk, he wants to be as good as his brother and really carry on that legacy, and he has a
he's off to a good start. Yeah, and Mace Herrick, only a sophomore, so these guys are building a great football program, too.
First and 10, looking deep, intercepted. Kai Bierke is able to pick that one off to give the possession back to the reigning champions.
How good has Kai Bierke been today? I mean, he's not statistically going to stand out, but that ball is pretty well thrown. You can't have better coverage than Kai Bierke just did right there. The other thing I love, watch him get his head around. He sees that ball and goes up and makes a play. You know, that's where, too, if you're, Brett Willoughby, you got to try to fight, right, to become a defensive back on that play. Don't let that guy get the interception. But Bierke has just been phenomenal. He's been all over the field. Great blocks downfield and had a really good game on defense as well.
And that's what really defines championship teams, is players like that maybe don't get all the attention, who don't have the eye-popping statistics like an Alex Foles, but still come up big and make important contributions. Ball is at the 7. Foles will hand it off. Tyler Kirsten getting a lot of work in this game. He'll pick up a few on that play. That semifinal win, we saw a lot of heavy work from Noah Elton, but it's been Tyler Kirsten, especially in the second half.
Well, and that's what great coaches do and great programs do, right? You know, Zach Hauser is looking at this, and they found a matchup or a set or a play that they really like, and it's kind of been that option. And really, instead of Noah Elton, it's really been Tyler Kirsten today. And I think, again, it all sets up and goes through Alex Foles, but he's had some great support, which I thought he would need today.
Foles thought about that option and said he'll take off up the middle where he has a lot of space. He crosses midfield across the 30.
What a play. And they've set that up all game long, running that option. You've seen him pitch that most of the time. That time just a little fake. He gets that defender lean into the outside, and he cuts it north and south. Watch this right here. Just that little fake.
This is undoubtedly going to be our play of the game, assuming Mountain Lake area doesn't come back. But Alex Foles, he got that seam and took off quickly.
Well, and here's what's fascinating, right? People think, well, he's maybe not that fast. He's running ahead of Mace Herrig right there, and he finishes it. He's got great speed.
Today's play of the game brought to you by Minnesota Rusco since 1955. It was actually a 93-yard run. My math on the spot failed me there, as that extra point is blocked or off. Either way, it does not go in. The score 26-6 here as Spring Grove building a larger lead here as things get later.
Well, we've seen a couple of big chunk plays. 52-yard, 58-yard touchdown that time. 93 by Alex Foles. Wow.
Alex Foles taking it all the way. Another touchdown in an amazing career. Funniest Family on TV. Watch Blackish 5 nights a week at 7 and 7:30 on 45 TV. 9 minutes, 10 seconds left in the fourth quarter of Prep Bowl 37. Spring Grove leading 26-6. Alex Foles, a big reason why.
Well, his second rushing touchdown gives him 39 rushing touchdowns on the year. He's just an impressive winner.
He came into this game having scored 187 offensive touchdowns in his career. Mace Herrig on the return for Mountain Lake area.
That's just so ridiculous to even say that. He has 189 offensive touchdowns. That's unreal.
I even checked with Zach Hauser because I thought half of that would be a remarkable career.
Well, I'll tell you, and what makes him so tough, obviously that big run puts him at 195 yards, two rushing touchdowns. He only has 90 yards passing, but he's one of those rare guys that he could beat you either through the air or with his legs. You know, and let's not forget, too, defensively, he's had a number of great tackles, forced a fumble. I mean, and he's the kicker and the punter, and I mean, he just does everything for this team.
He's living up to his legacy in this game. Here is Brett Willoughby with the ball. And a tackle falls in on it. Again, just as we were talking about him for very little gain.
You know, in my head, I was just thinking, I wonder if he's worn out after that long run. And I think he answered the question.
You can hear how physical this game has been. We've been hearing that a lot throughout this game from the very beginning, just how strong these players are in these hits and how much contact there is.
Well, and I'll never forget this. When I was at Eden Prairie and we won back-to-back state champions, Coach Mike Grant told us anyone can win a state championship. Every year someone's going to win a state champion, but to repeat, you're going to get everyone's best shot, and people are coming at you. It's not easy to do. And
a miscue there for Mountain Lake area. There is a flag on the field.
I got your spot. I got you.
8:13 left in the game.
Got an illegal block in the back against the offense.
Penalty for the Wolverines. So it'll be 2nd down and 10, ball at their own 26-yard line. We haven't seen a lot of penalties in this game.
No, it's been a clean game, and you know, the other thing too, as I'm watching this game and we're into the fourth quarter, Sloan, is, you know, you talk so much about Spring Grove's offense, but how about defensively today? They've held a really dynamic, balanced, excellent offense, you know, who averages 49 points a game. They basically have held them to 1 touchdown. So, you know, as much as we're going to talk about how great Spring Grove has been on offense, I think defensively they came to play today, and they've done very, very well.
There's a lot of good skill players on that side of the ball for Mountain Lake area, but Abraham Stace has been very solid today. He's only a junior. Here has time, being pursued by Wyatt Murphy, the center, still holding on to it, doesn't see anything he likes, and he's going to be tackled right in front of that Spring Grove sideline. Let's check in with Allie Arlt for a report from the sideline.
If you were to go back 3 years ago when the Wolverines' 6 current seniors were freshmen and tell Coach Kirk that those 6 would be playing in the state title game their senior year, he said he would have told you to get your head checked. But fast forward today, Coach says this is the hardest working team in his 16 years of coaching, saying they want it, they are driven, and they are a phenomenal group. Coach says that they are so deserving of this, and he doesn't think that he's said that about too many teams over all of his years of coaching.
It is funny to see the development, the maturity that happens over a player's 4-year career as that pass is incomplete, intended for Ethan Nickel.
Well, it is. You have to have a special group just to make it to the state championship. Forget winning or losing the Prep Bowl. Just to get here, you have to have, number one, you have to have luck. Number two, you got to stay healthy. But, you know, Coach Kirk talked about this group has just completely bought in to what him and his coaching staff has taught them. He said, very selfless group. You know, guys don't care who gets the credit. They just want to win. And, you know, I could just tell in talking to Coach Kirk his passion for his kids, not only about winning and losing, but just how much he cares about each individual. And you can really tell the way they play hard.
4th down and 9, knocked away, picked off. Noah Elton running the opposite direction. Great field position coming up for Spring Grove. How did he maintain control?
How about his closing speed on that? I thought that was going to be a completion. He tips it, but great concentration. Not to mention he's, you know, tight-roping the sideline as well, but what concentration.
It'll be Spring Grove football when we come back. They're already up 26-6, looking to win their 2nd straight championship.
Believe in me, tomorrow's engine.
Welcome back to U.S. Bank Stadium on 45 TV. A 27-yard interception return for Noah Elton. And he hasn't been a big focal point offensively, but defensively he has been so solid. He sets up the Lions at the 7-yard line of Mountain Lake area. Snap to Foles. There's the option. Tyler Kirsten sneaking his way across the 5.
And that play's been effective all morning here, that option, especially to the left side. And Foles has delivered it so many times. You see options, it's so much predicated on timing, slow, and you'll see a lot of mistakes, fumbles, and just the command of the offense, too, that Alex Foles has. Forget his statistics, forget, you know, all the gaudy numbers that he puts up. I just think his command, his presence, his calmness, his leadership, and his confidence, and I think it permeates to everyone else in that program. You know, Coach Hauser just talks about his supreme confidence, and you can see just the way he plays.
2nd down and goal. Foles following his blockers to get in, and it's another touchdown for Spring Grove in this 9-man championship game.
How many touchdowns do you see like that where he's getting slowed down about the 4-yard line and somehow he just fights through it, falls forward, and it ends up being a touchdown? He's just got that uncanny ability to know where that goal line is and spreads it out. And what a performance. You know, my coach always used to say big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games, and Alex Foles has done that yet again today.
He fell on top of Tyler Kirsten. It turned over on his back and still had the awareness to get it over the plate.
What effort. Great effort.
That makes it 32-6.
And if you're just joining us, you see that score. Well, it's easy to forget just a few minutes ago, it was a 1-score game, and Mountain Lake was driving, and just like that, Spring Grove has just completely taken command of this ball game.
At the half, it was 14-6 in favor of Spring Grove. Foles attempting the 2-point conversion. And it's not going to happen that time. 32-6, it will stay with 7 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Here's another look at this last touchdown. Alex Foles getting in again for his team. The stats keep piling up for one of the great all-time 9-man players. Stands out to you here, obviously huge performances from Alex Foles. Abraham Stace has had a strong game too.
The thing that stands out is Kyle Hagan, 11 tackles, because that is indicative of how good defensively they've been. I think we expected Alex Foles to account for 3 to 4 touchdowns, either through the air or running the football. But what we didn't account for, at least I didn't, is I thought Mountain Lake would be able to score. I've just been super impressed with Spring Grove defensively.
Really showing that they are more than just an offensive team.
Well, and you find, you know, great teams, championship teams, you find different ways to win.
Flag is on the field after
illegal kick out of bounds on the kicking team. We're going to move it back 5 yards, re-kick.
It's another kick coming up with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
But I go back to that quarterfinal win for Spring Grove when they, Russell Tyler Ruth had the lead with 2 minutes left. It was a freezing cold and windy game and had 7 turnovers, but still found a way to win when they needed to. And you kind of take that confidence from, the first time maybe in 2 years. This would be their 28th consecutive win. These guys just know how to win. And let's not forget, both of these programs might have another state championship or two if it wasn't for those dominant Grand Meadow teams, that were coached by Gary Sloan that just had that unbelievable run.
Mace Herrig off the kickoff. Take 2. Kai Bjerke trying to bring him down, as was Kyle Hagan. And that is where the drive will start for Mountain Lake area with under 7 minutes left.
Well, the other number on that game summary, too, for me, Sloan, was Mace Herrig, 33 yards. I thought today him and Abraham Stace both needed to be 120 plus, right, to show that balance, kind of that two-headed monster of an offense, and maybe mix in some play action, get some big passing plays, but they just haven't been able to run that football out to the edge.
Here is Stace. The top side of the field, tackled by Dakota Boyd. And that'll set up second down and short. You've been talking so much about the Spring Grove offense. Their offensive coordinator, Cody Moore, was a quarterback for Caledonia right when this dynasty started for them. Won the state championship in 2007, and they've been absolutely dominant since. Going deep is Stace, and that is knocked down. Foles in on the play, as is Noah Elton.
Yeah, you could tell Foles, his eyes light up. That ball is hung in the air. He's just a ball hawk. Watch him come over from the center of the field, just reading the quarterback, and he sees that ball be released. Watch him close on this. Look at where his eyes are. Never even looked at the receiver. He was going after that ball. He wanted that interception. Abraham, Stace, we've seen he's been battling being sick today, whether it's, nerves or whether it's something he ate. And how about his toughness, too, just hanging in there. We've seen him make a lot of plays on defense as well as offense, too.
3rd and 3 for Stace. Still going. And Tyler Kirsten will swing him down hard to the ground. That's easily a first down on a very patient run by Stace.
Let's go on the ball, boys.
Great block, too, by Drake Harder down the field. And here's what you're looking for now if you're Mountain Lake. You're looking for character, and I love that they're just battling, right? Stace still fighting down the field for extra yards. That's a sign of a great football team as well.
Stace will take it yet again himself. Another stiff arm, and he will just tight line the sideline, and eventually he runs out of bounds.
You can see him. He's bent over. He does not feel good. He's holding that stomach, and you can see his face, and I just love the toughness. And
David!
6:20 left in the fourth quarter. And his teammates are looking over at the sideline.
Well, Stace came off the field there. He doesn't
David
feel
Larson
good.
is in for him. Normally he only plays defensive end. He set a season record with 15.5 sacks coming into today. It looks like he is going to take a couple of snaps here, but a timeout is called. That's really been, unfortunately, a problem throughout this game, is maybe some illness by Abraham Stace.
Yeah, I mean, you want to obviously feel your best. You're playing in your biggest game, and you're playing in the Viking Stadium. But how about his toughness, too, just fighting through it?
Alex Foles, we've talked about him throughout. A tremendous game and a tremendous career that has all around been dominant. They came into this game with a 27-game win streak, and he has absolutely led them here, been a focal point offensively, defensively, and even throughout this game, we have seen his impact on multiple plays.
Well, and this play right here was a very big play. This was the 4th down to keep the drive going, which they scored at. And then this was just a few minutes ago, which really broke this game wide open. And I love it. You watch him, he's got that big, strong body, but showing his speed. He's pulling away. And something little in that right there, Sloan. You see him change his angle, knowing, pulling away from that defender. He's just a very cerebral player as well.
Over 13,000 yards for his career. 190 career touchdowns he scored. That's his statistics for today. both sides of the ball, has been outstanding throughout his career. 3 years as a starter. 2nd down and 8. Stace is back into the game, and somehow he wills himself to power through those tackles.
Well, he just burst through that hole. Watch how fast he hits this line. Getting that little bit of a breather. Great block by Harder, and look at him hurdle defenders. And I'll tell you what, you want toughness as a quarterback. I think look no further. You got your guy here in Abraham Stace. Not feeling well, but making no bones about it. No excuses. He's still attacking. Love to see it.
And you just wonder about how much discomfort, how much pain he's experiencing right now. We even saw this developing in the first quarter. It's a long time to have to power through what ails you. Stace to Harder. Flies into the end zone. That's the 2nd touchdown today for the Wolverines to make it 32-12.
Well, how about Drake Harder flying over the defender into the end zone, but that play was made. Great patience that time by Abraham Stace. He was looking down the field, buying time, and right here you can see at the last second he finds Harder. Nice throw, thrown across your body, and just a great effort. You love to see Mountain Lake finish this drive off.
Harder was not going to be denied on that play, and with his athleticism, with his size, Tim Kirk and Harder hope that he'll have some opportunities in college. But as you see a lot of times in 9-man, it sometimes takes some extra discussions here to get those opportunities. 2-point conversion fails, so it'll stay a 20-point deficit.
Yeah, Drake Harder, I mean, great touchdown catch. We've seen him run the football successfully. He's also had a phenomenal game defensively, made double-digit tackles, too. So he's just an athlete that makes plays.
It's a 7-play, 62-yard drive over 1:30 completed, or ending with a 10-yard pass from Stace to Harder. Here's another look at that touchdown, their 2nd today.
And you can see his eyes are down the field, and this is right there. When you're rolling to your left, to get your body back into that throw, that is such a difficult throw. And really, it's all set up by patience. If you're an inexperienced quarterback, you throw that, you try to force that. Great job by Stace, buying time, and then finding Harder. And watch this extension. Oh, air Harder through the air, touchdown. What a fun experience for him. Obviously, they're not on the side of the scoreboard they would wish they were, but that's just a great play.
Harder is hoping for offers, and actually Alex Foles, too, has not committed anywhere to play college.
That nice scoring drive right there. But I'll tell you what, if I'm a college coach, forget size and height and weight and how fast, blah, blah, blah. Give me a guy that is a winner. Give me Alex Foles, a guy that's won 28 straight games, that plays at a high level in every sport he competes in, and just finds a way to be a leader and finds a way to win championships. Give me that guy on my team every day of the week.
Kickoff coming up for Mountain Lake area with 5:25 on the clock. Champions of Section 3. Picked up by Tyler Kirsten, and he's just going to go down to the ground near the 40.
Take it away now.
Here's a look at the rest of the games for today. Caledonia Barnesville. There's going to be a lot of fans that are in the stadium right now staying over because Spring Grove and Caledonia only separated by 10 miles. There's a lot of crossover support there. Then Class 4A coming up at 4 o'clock, SMB and Wilmer. And then Class 6A, a rematch of a regular season game, Eden Prairie and Lakeville North, that went the Panthers' way the first time around.
Yeah, it's a full slate, really good competitive games. That Eden Prairie Lakeville North game is going to be a fantastic. Lakeville North is just so big and strong on both sides of the football in that offensive defensive line. I'm looking forward to it. You know, Coach Mike Grant's going to have a few tricks up his sleeve too. It's hard to bet against Eden Prairie in this game, but something tells me Lakeville North, this might be their year.
Drake Harder with a strong tackle there on Foles. Now 5 minutes remaining. It's 2nd down and 9, and Spring Grove can eat up a lot of time here to get closer here to hoisting the trophy. Alex Foles, 26 carries, 200 yards. He just puts up big game after big game. And you wouldn't expect anything differently for the purple.
Oh, that ball's on the ground.
Ball comes out. Looks like it'll be recovered by the Lions.
You know, and it hasn't been a clean game, really, on either side. We've seen that ball on the ground. Of course, we've seen the 3 interceptions, 2 by Alex Foles. So there's been turnovers. There's been opportunity for Mountain Lake Area's defense here to you know, right there, you can see that ball is clearly out, bouncing on the floor. You know, great job. We talked a lot about Kai Bierke. How about Ethan Matzke, too, number 11? Just seems to always have a knack to be around that football. We saw him recover a defensive fumble, too, earlier in the game.
He is one of those 3 returning starters that have meant so much to the Spring Grove team. They were dominated by seniors last year, and it was logical that they would make it to the championship game, but to do it again this year, losing that much talent, really says a lot about Foles, everyone else around him, and the coaching staff, too.
Watch this effort. Contact right there. Look at him spin out of this and keep those legs moving and falling. He knows exactly where that first down marker is, and he's going to be just shy of it, but fantastic effort.
He's so strong with the ball in his hand. That looked like a play where you could maybe strip him, too, when he opens himself up and leaves that ball exposed as he's falling to the ground. Here it's 4th down and 1.
Spring Grove's going to let that play clock get down to 1, call a timeout.
3:13 on the clock. A timeout is called. A 20-point lead for the Spring Grove Lions of Section 1, trying to win their 2nd straight Prep Bowl title. Spring Grove, both of these teams came here to Minneapolis yesterday. Here's a look at some pictures from having Thanksgiving dinner as a team together here in a Minneapolis hotel. It's a fun way to switch things up and be with your other family.
Absolutely, and it always makes Thanksgiving a little difficult, right? Because you're used to that family and being on the couch. They have a practice and a walkthrough in the morning, get a couple hours with their family, and then they take a bus down here to the cities and stay. Both teams stayed at the DoubleTree here in Minneapolis, and just it's such a memory, too. It's such a fun time. I can still, Sloan, 22 years after my first Prep Bowl, I could tell you minute by minute what that day feels like. Just the anticipation of playing for a state championship, and you're with your guys, and it's friendships, relationships that you're going to last you a lifetime. So it's such a fun experience for all these kids.
Foles will punt, and it is Stace who gets it. He goes out of bounds near the 30-yard line with 3:04 on the clock. Section 1 has won the last 5 Prep Bowl championships, and we're on that route again here with Spring Grove.
Well, just some really high-quality 9-man football down in the southern part of the state of Minnesota. And again, both these teams from down south, Grand Meadow obviously from that same area too. So just some really high-level football, really good coaching down in that level too, and you know, culminates with multiple Prep Bowl berths and championships.
1st and 10 for Stace. Caught by Willoughby. Mountain Lake area only state championship came in 1939 in boys basketball, but they have such a strong roster. You think about who's going to be returning, including Abraham Stace, and what kind of talent they're going to have coming up for next year. It's going to be intimidating in Section 3.
And building a championship program, rarely do you go from nothing to a state championship. You usually got to go through those levels, and you got to earn your way up. So this is a great starting point. Of course, they made the state tournament last year, and with a lot of these kids coming back, especially their skill players, having this experience playing in the Prep Bowl is only going to make them stronger and better for next year.
Harder picks up the 1st down to continue this drive. Stace the option. It is Harder again, who gets out of bounds near the 50. Let's take a look at our player of the game. And Ryan, I'm sure you're surprised that it is Alex Foles. The player of the game brought to you by Luther. Driven to serve. Visit lutherauto.com.
Not his best game statistically, you know, obviously, but 204 yards, 3 touchdowns, all on the ground. Had some nice throws, defensively making some beautiful plays, but everything just flows through him. The rest of their offense, everything is predicated on Alex Foles making the right decision, and yet again he did it, and he's going to lead his team to a 2nd undefeated Prep Bowl season.
And I love this quote from Cromwell Wright head coach Jeff Ronner. I saw this in the Post Bulletin. He's a once-in-a-generation talent. Yep. He's definitely one of the best 9-man players I've ever seen in the last decade, for sure. And we are watching the end of one of the greatest careers you will see in Minnesota high school football. Going deep, batted away, and incomplete for Mountain Lake area on 2nd down and 10.
Well, even Tim Kirk, you know, when I talked to him throughout the week, he said, obviously, we got to stop their quarterback. And I said, you know, when you watch him on film, do you see something that you'd like to take away? And he says, you watch one game and you think, yeah, we can take that away. And then you watch another game and he does something completely different. And he said, we know he's a complete, you know, transcendent player, but you just don't know until you get on the field and you see what he does. And I thought he set the tone on that opening drive today when they marched down, even though he didn't get he did get that touchdown, but he really just set that tone.
And there's a whistle. Probably some early movement.
Ball start. 72 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
It's on Regan Severson, the center.
Well, and to give you an idea, too, of the Spring Grove offense, Mountain Lake area, you know, the most points they've given up was 16, and that was against Edgerton Ellsworth, and they won 60-16. Both of those scores were in the 4th quarter of that game. So for Spring Grove to put up 32 points is pretty impressive against this defense.
Here is Stace taking off again. He switched the ball over, going toward the end zone, stays in bounds, and it's another touchdown for Mountain Lake area. Abraham Stace gets it.
He is explosive, isn't it? That looked a lot like his first touchdown run in the first quarter. Gets to the outside, and he looks like he's an egg, and he's not feeling good. Great ball fake, and watch this vision. Right there, he splits him, and he has got some great speed. There's not too many people in this state of Minnesota that are going to catch him when he gets in the open field. He's electric. He is fun to watch as well.
He will be extremely exciting to watch next year, and I think the fans for Mountain Lake area should be very excited about that, and excited about the season that he's had, too, in celebrating the success of a dominant season. You read some of those scores. They've been absolutely dominant in an undefeated season. Here's Mace Herrick trying for 2. And he will be kept out of the end zone, keeping the score 32-18 with 2:03 left.
Both of the 1,000-yard rushers are returning next year, so that's something obviously very good to build on.
There's that explosive play again. He switched the arm, but it doesn't slow him down.
No, just a smart. You can tell he's a natural leader, too, and he's had a great game defensively also. So he's a heck of a football player, and you can see in his face that he just does not feel right, which I think makes his performance even that much more remarkable, that he's doing this not feeling 100%.
Tim Kirk said that they didn't expect him to be as physical as he was this year, that he's a quiet leader, but then when it comes to game time, he is absolutely a competitor, and that's only going to continue to develop for him as he becomes a senior.
You know, and keep in mind, 2:03 left. You're down 14. That's 2 scores. So now do you start thinking onside kick here? You know, we've seen crazier things happen than 14 points here in the final 2 minutes.
That's why we love high school football, is because you have seen things that just defy any kind of logic. And that's what makes it fun.
Absolutely. You know, just the energy, the passion of this 9-man game. It opens up, you know, starts the state championship football weekend, and it's so passionate, and I love calling this first game and seeing some really, really good football as well.
Here is David Larson, who is kicking off. Normally it is Sam Paulson. Trying an onside kick, it looks like, and easily picked up by Noah Elton to keep the possession with Spring Grove.
You know, and for the casual viewer, you watch that, you think that's an easy thing to do. When you know you got 8 guys running hard at you like that, that is not an easy task.
Coming up on the Preferred One post-game show, we'll have highlights and interviews. The production doesn't stop here. We have a great crew and more coming your way as we do crown a 9-man champion. 2:03 left. It's with Spring Grove, and for them, the focus is obviously taking care of the ball. Not allowing any dangerous plays. Staying in control. First down play, it is Foles. He is shoved backward. That'll bring up second down.
And again, just really physical football on both sides of the ball here for both teams. Mountain Lake, I've been extremely impressed with their tackling and how hard they hit, and same with Spring Grove too. This has been a physical game from really the first drive, and we've heard a lot of hits, a lot of contact that we can hear pretty clear even up here in our booth.
Well, the offensive line has been key for Spring Grove throughout the season. All new starters, the center Wyatt Murphy, Calvin Silling, and Kyle Hagan have been really important throughout this entire season to allow Foles to do what he's capable of and to continue the tradition and a very important role in winning a state title.
Yeah, just even more impressive, we talked about depth and Mountain Lake having a lot of guys that don't have to play both ways. How about Spring Grove and their guys just being really in good shape, right? Being able to take the physical pounding that Mountain Lake, gives to their opponents, and not only taking it, but actually getting stronger too as the game went on. That explosion they had in the third quarter was very impressive, and it's ultimately going to be what won them their second state championship.
I want to talk about Tim Kirk of Mountain Lake area, and I had a great conversation with him, and I talked to a lot of these coaches who are a 9-man, who come from small communities, who talk about how much more this means when you come from a small town like this. But I had never gotten as strong of a sense as him how much he cares about Mountain Lake.
Yep.
He grew up there. He played on the same field. He sees men around town who came before him, and he really felt indebted to bring a championship home. But they have had a tremendous season. The heartfelt way he talked about Mountain Grove really struck me as being very genuine. Here's Foles taking off. And here he's got space. He is going all the way again. Another touchdown for Alex Foles and Spring Grove.
Did you see that ball fake, Sloan? They're running that option play, and he ball faked that he was going to pitch that, and it worked, and he went right up the seam. What a run. What a play.
He has sold those the entire game.
He really has. That's just a beautiful ball fake, and you got to make a shout out too to that offensive line. There's been, when he cuts up, watch him make that cut right there. There's no one pursuing. They just did a great job up front, and great job to Zach Hauser and his staff too, recognizing that option would be there today, and they've ran it to perfection.
50-yard run on that touchdown. He also has a 93-yard touchdown run in this one, and you couldn't even really tell that he was tired and run all over the field today. 1:08 left. Spring Grove up 38-18, back to 20 points.
Yeah, dead ball delay game against the offense. 5-yard retry.
A 3-play drive capped off by, again, that 50-yard run. And Alex Foles can't stop just adding to his legacy as a high school football player.
Well, I thought Mountain Lake did a nice job, Sloan, of taking the pass away with those 3 interceptions. They really did limit the effectiveness of Spring Grove's passing offense, but they just haven't been able to stop him on the ground today.
Foles across his body complete, but obviously not close for a 2-point conversion, so it will stay a 20-point lead with 1:08 remaining. And hear the cheers from the Spring Grove side, knowing it is close.
Yeah. And look at that pitch. Just a beautiful pitch. That's David Larson, all-time sack leader here for Mountain Iron, and you can see he went to bat that pitch down rather than make the tackle, and as soon as he went north and south, again showing some breakaway speed ability as well, finishes it off. To put 38 points up against this Mountain Lake defense, truly something special. And one of the words that I had written down with Alex Foles was legacy. Do you win a second Prep Bowl? Do you have a big game with outstanding numbers? He did. What kind of legacy does a player like that leave for this community? It's probably second to none.
There was holding on the play, so another try here at the 2-point conversion. Foles, plenty of time, didn't even have to move out of the pocket, and he completes the Kai Bjerke to make it 40-18 with 1:08 left.
And I'll tell you, one of the differences on that play, you could see he had time. He was able to set his feet, didn't have to move at all. And early in the game when Spring Grove was throwing, they got great pressure on him. That time, watch him barely had to move, and he's got a strong arm. That time throws a rocket in there. And Kai Bierke making his impact again.
One of the things I've picked up on in covering championship games is how much of the season is laid out in the spring. Getting into the weight room, having this strong mentality that you do not deviate from, that you are on a mission. Both of these teams had that, and I'm sure we'll continue it into the next year. But I was struck by how important it is in the months after the Prep Bowl, not next fall.
Yeah, absolutely. And you take Mountain Lake, for example, they will, and knowing, you know, Coach Kirk, after getting to know him this week too, they will use this as fuel as well, Sloan. They're going to remember what this feels like today, and those kids that are returning now are going to be able to look back on that, and they're going to use that as motivation for every. Listen, it's not easy getting up at 5 o'clock in the winter to go run and lift, and you need something to drive you. And this feeling that you have right now, feeling this icky way you do after getting, you know, beat in a Prep Bowl, that's what fuels you to come back better than ever the following season.
The motto, since losing in the state quarterfinals last year for Mountain Lake Erie, was finish the job. It's not going to happen today, but I can see that carrying them here again. Lateral pass off the kickoff. Here is Mace Herrig being patient, and he gets near the 50-yard line. A strong return on that kickoff.
Yeah, well executed too. Not an easy throw. That's a, you know, 35-yard throw across the field, but really nicely done. Yeah,
they executed it well.
Yeah, clearly throwing backwards too. Really nice job. And again, that's so hard because as you're setting up to throw, you got 9 guys running right at you, ready to take your head off, and you got to stand in there and know you're going to take some hits there. Nice job. Well, great execution.
58 seconds left. It's got to be hard to be patient if you're a Spring Grove player on the sideline, especially.
Absolutely. You still got to make plays. You don't want to give up another score here. You just keep everything in front of you and get to that celebration where you can culminates with the trophy.
Stace fakes and throws, incomplete. 52 seconds on the clock for the Mountain Lake area Wolverines.
You know, that's the thing. When these last seconds, when you know you're going to win a state championship, and I love that. I see Coach Kirk. He's smiling. He knows what he was up against. He knows, you know, he had the utmost respect for Coach Hauser and Spring Grove, but you know, they also had a lot of confidence too. And you know, when you win the state championship, it's such emotion because it's all the work that goes into it. And people, if you haven't been on a football team, you don't know all the sacrifice and hard work that has to go into it. And it's really an emotional, wonderful feeling. And the last thing I'm going to say about it too, Sloan, you know, I'm 39 years old and, you know, have a career now. And a lot of who I am is based on the confidence that I had from winning state championships as a high school athlete, right? The very similar blueprint. Hard work is going to pay off. Do things the right way. Be a great teammate. Be a leader. You know, think outside the box. Prepare. All that stuff that I used to win a state championship at Eden Prairie. These kids can bottle that up and take it with them for the rest of their life. So it's what an honor to hold that state championship trophy.
Will soon be in their hands. Third down play is incomplete for Mountain Lake area. There it is, another look. They're already on it. There they are.
That's like the claret jug when they already put the winner's name on it. How'd they get that picture in there?
42 seconds from a second straight title, the 6th straight in Section 1 after that dynasty by Grand Meadow.
And I love coaches too. Zach Hauser not finishing coaching right till the end, but deep down you got to start getting that little bit of a smile going because you know what's about to come.
Foles, the tackle against Stace. That'll bring up 4th down, and here you see the celebration starting to begin.
And it's, you know, and then, you know, from a coaching staff too, you put in all the hours of film work and summer work and preparation. It's just a reward for everyone in the program.
Option to Harder, who has some room. He gets to the 30, and time continues to run to 17 seconds. Spring Grove still antsy, waiting for that chance to run out onto the field. Timeout is called. Maybe to get some substitutions in. What do you think Tim Kirk is telling his players? I know it's been a tough result for them.
You know, because here's the thing. When you're a coach and your team is losing, you're also being an example of leadership of how to lose, right? And you can see he's got a smile on his face, too. And, you know, sometimes even if you lose a game, there's the bath there. Even when you lose, you can still win from it, right? And you can see Alex Foles, too. He's starting to get emotional. And I'll tell you, when you're a senior and that whistle and you know it's coming to an end, even if you go on to play in college, it's never the same as playing with your brothers and your friends that you grew up with and playing for your teachers and your community and your family. You know, that changes when you get to college. And it can be emotional, too. Obviously, you're very proud, very excited, but it can also be a little bit sad, too.
Ethan Nickel trying to see where he can go with it as time continues to run. He'll be tackled by Tristan Hamill. He's just gotten into the game, and that will do it. The final 40-18 back-to-back for Spring Grove. Spring Grove comes out on top. A moment there between the two quarterbacks. Has to be a lot of respect between the two after an extremely hard-fought game. Mountain Lake area, a tremendous season. Only one loss on their record. This one right here, but Spring Grove continues their dominant season now. 28 straight wins. Zach Hauser, a two-time championship winning coach, leading the Spring Grove team.
Just great respect between both teams, both coaches, players. You talked about that moment between the two quarterbacks. Just both teams very classy. Look at that right there. I love to see that. Coach Kirk having a moment, showing his appreciation and respect too. That's class personified, exactly right there.
Sometimes you just don't always know, but what he's demonstrating here is exactly what you said. Just such a great display of how to lose. The discussion here between the two coaches, he still is looking more upbeat, trying to keep his players, keep things in perspective here, and that's a great example of leadership. As Zach Hauser goes over to his sideline, big smile there from Ethan Matsky. A senior on this team, Dakota Boyd and Noah Elton. And we're going to send it down to the field for the awards ceremony for the 9-man champions, Spring Grove.
First, it's time for the Most Valuable Teammate Award.